Collider live on a Tuesday, and I don't have a pen. Fire Alex Marzona. It is time to talk about a lot of stuff, and not just Spider-Man. So if you're here, when are they going to talk about Spider-Man? You figure it out. Come back for the time codes. I don't give a shit. Sick of it.
Nice. Man, you really get this show started off hot, Chris. You really know how to get to the fans.
We're not talking about it until the second half.
We'll talk about it when we talk about it. How about that? The rest of it, you sit around, you listen to us talk about whatever we want to talk about.
I loved it.
There's a lot of people out there that
you're watching it right now.
On silent on 2x speed.
What can you possibly review from that?
Well, I just saw somebody. Ooh.
Why don't you just watch it during the break?
Why don't you just wait?
Because he told me that we were going to talk about the first half.
I said I don't know what we're going to talk about.
And I want to be so prepared.
So we're going to talk about Spider-Man
like you are right now.
Spider-Verse right now.
Here's what happened.
Yeah.
When I get Reilly's amazing rundowns, they bring me to the wrong day.
Every time.
And so that's on me. I know that at this point. But I mess up.
I think it's just like when you click on it, it sends you to like an original thing. It works. It does that same thing for me too. It
and
really
so
does.
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
Like I would. I don't want to tell Reilly how to do his job because I don't want to do that job.
Sure?
It's a thankless job.
Yeah.
I intentionally bombed a Twitter contest 7 years ago just so I wouldn't have to do it.
It's not a thankless job. Right before we went on air, I said to Reilly, I said, is this entire thing updated? He said, yes, we are. And I said, so that means we're definitely talking to Perri about Captain Marvel? He said, well, I didn't update that. And then poor Reilly, who goes through all this.
See, that's
really
what I
looked
at, and I was like, oh, okay.
So
your hair's doing great things with those headphones. Leave it.
Leave it. Wild?
Yeah, it's crazy. I like it.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a...
It's like a hat.
Yeah, like remember the old, the little sprout dolls that you would see?
Yeah.
Troll dolls?
No, not troll, because trolls go straight up. Yeah. Like a thingy.
What's a sprout doll?
I don't know. It's like, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Like a radish doll.
And Brett Sheridan is here.
Yeah.
Oh, hey!
Brett, I was saying, because you were in here yesterday, it was funny. You were at the Schmoedown Awards, and people kept coming. I don't know about coming up to you. I'd like to hear because you always get weird when it comes to being approached.
A little bit.
Because he's just, he hides in the corner. But I got so many compliments on Brett Sheridan, how you were crushing last week. He was like, bro, Brett's been so good on the show. He's here. Go talk to him. Did people talk to you?
Yeah. No, I had a lot of people come up to me.
Yeah?
And I don't think I was horribly awkward. I was consciously trying to be not freaked out. And it was good.
But were you a little freaked out?
Yeah, always. Because, again, it's this like... It's somebody coming up as if like it's somebody I'm supposed because I've got that old brain where I'm like, where do I know this guy from?
Yeah.
Oh shit, remember his name, and oh no, you're just a fan of the show. So that's the immediate when somebody goes, hey, you're like, Jeremy? No, I don't know you. Oh, okay, sorry.
Right. You're still getting used to it.
I do appreciate, though, when it is a fan of the show that I've already met, when they reintroduce themselves, because I usually remember a face, but it is hard sometimes when, like, I'm so appreciative of the fans that come up and are like, oh, remember I met you last Schmoedown Live? I'm Dan. And I was like, of course, Dan.
Right. Dan the man.
Of course.
Dan the man.
And then I usually do. I'm like, oh, yeah, I totally remember. But I feel so bad.
I know faces real well.
Me too.
And now, do you remember any of the faces from Saturday? You can't.
Yeah,
you were hammered.
No. I mean, I was good. I wasn't blacked out.
No?
I was toasted.
Well, you made it to Vin Diesel's house. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I made it the whole night. I was up till like
come?
4 in. This party's already over.
It's over.
man.
It's been over for days.
Next year.
I will say I heard Roxy was talking shit about me yesterday on the show.
You know that's not true.
No, it was wonderful. I did listen to on the way here. I had my wife's car, so I got to actually Bluetooth. It's a pretty fancy car.
Fancy.
And so I listened to the first hour and 15 minutes is how long it took me to drive here today.
Oh, okay.
And right as I was pulling up, I heard Roxy saying some lovely things about me, and it really warmed my heart.
True.
I'm going to play it every day before the show. That little clip.
What were you more shocked of, how nice Roxy was to you, or how bizarre Finstock is?
I've hung out with Finstock. I mean, with that, my first and only Comic-Con was spent entirely with Finstock, and it was a wonderful time. And I'm not shocked by Roxy. I think I don't think Roxy's not nice. I think she's just been confused by me for quite some time.
I think that's going away now.
I'm not confused.
You were in the beginning. You told me
Yeah,
as much.
oh, yeah.
That's what he's saying.
I was, but he said for some time now. I don't think I've been... Since the airport, I have no longer been confused. I also remember third-degreed him hard and know all about his life.
Right. So you know who he is now.
Yeah,
so it was like
including his last name.
Because you were confused about him when you first stepped into this place.
Very confused.
It was the Roxy Striar one-on-one with Brett Sheridan on the way to the airport.
Yeah, what do you got, Macuga?
No, like Finstock Woodstock / Tom is everybody's like
Tom's
first Comic-Con. Yeah. He's like your intro to Comic-Con. My first Comic-Con I spent with Tom, and then I liked Comic-Con after that. Your first you spent with Tom, you've never gone back.
I never been invited.
That's not true. You got sick that one year.
One year. The next year I was like, hey, this year? Oh, we're not doing it.
Yeah, we just Comic-Con last year we didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
I want to do a Collider live at Comic-Con.
That would be fun.
Don't give us extra work.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess
it'd be a blast. We could do it 3 straight days. Do Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It depends. Ooh. Yeah, it's possible.
Even on preview night.
I don't like preview night.
I love preview night, but I like not working on preview night.
Yeah. We could do it on Sunday. We could do 4 days. We could do 5 days.
Cool. Sunday night, 10 p.m.
Staying at Comic-Con on Sunday is the most depressing thing in the world because everybody's trying to get the hell out of Dodge, and then you catch a late train, and it's the most crowded train of all time. It's just like everything is culminated to that morning of all the hangovers in a row.
Train?
I did the train 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I didn't stay till Sunday, but the year before that, Ken and I woke up at the crack of dawn and got the hell out of Dodge at like 7:30 in the morning.
You either have to do it at like between 7 and like 9.
Yeah.
And that's pushing it.
Or
9?
Yeah.
Or you could go.
You could have been on the the 8th train. Yeah. On the 8th train.
Right.
8.
Or you go you leave at like 7 or 8 at night.
The train's delightful there.
Yes.
I did the train there, and then I hitched a ride with you. So, in my experience of the one I've been at, take the train there, hitch a ride on the way back. Yeah.
I didn't do the train. My favorite, and I've said this many times, my favorite ride that I probably, I think it was 2 years ago, was when I drove there with Holly and Schnepp.
Yeah.
That was the coolest.
That was when we stayed in the Colombian drug dealer mansion.
That was absolutely when we stayed in that mansion.
The train is interesting in the sense that, like, getting on an airplane is you take off your shoes, take off your pants, whatever. The train's like, everyone come aboard!
It's like Hogwarts.
Yeah.
It's a Hogwarts train.
As many drugs and guns as you want.
I had one whole bag full of wine.
Yeah.
And just drank
Nobody
it.
cares.
No,
I kind of get stressed not having my car, though. It's not that I use it at Comic-Con. It's that what
You
if.
want it.
Well, here's
That's the problem with me is because with the family, I gotta be able to get it out.
Yeah. This past Comic-Con, the only day I went was Friday to do the show at the American Comedy Company with Ellis and friends, and I needed my car because I didn't have a place to stay and I was getting out of San Diego that night and yada yada yada, and it was one of the worst days of my life because not only was it the day that we got the word that Schnepp had passed away, but it also took me 5.5 hours to get from Los Angeles to San Diego. I was in standstill traffic the whole time.
Yeah.
Like it didn't not
on
let
the
up.
Saturday?
No, on Friday.
Oh,
On Friday. You gotta leave. You gotta leave at like either on that Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Look at us. We're talking about Comic-Con already. It's right around the corner.
Yeah. It does feel that way. This is the first year I don't know what I'm doing there, and I feel behind.
It's also January.
I know, but I feel literally behind.
You got to start
at this
having
point.
those conversations though too. I mean, look, we're doing a lot of stuff. We're going to be going on the road Schmoedown's next a week from Saturday. We're going to be in New York.
New York, yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
And tickets are on sale for the Collider Live. What are we doing? Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
In New York?
And Sunday.
That is not true. So
no, at Comic-Con.
Then looking into 2 other shows for Schmoedown. Obviously, one's going to be in LA. It's going to be the Free for All Live.
When's that?
That we're looking right now at March 23rd. Tickets are not on sale yet, and then we're going to be.
Can I come?
Yeah, of course you'll be there. I don't know if you're going to compete, but you'll be there.
Wait, real quick. Did you happen to talk to that awesome couple that they came out to?
Vegas people?
Yes.
Yes. We talked about them on the show
Oh,
yesterday.
you did? They are awesome people.
So I told it yesterday. I'll tell you because you probably will go, oh my God. Because I asked her, I looked at her. Did she look familiar to you?
Yes.
She told me this. She was the villain of the first season of Rock of Love.
That's where it is.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, oh my God, yeah, right?
Man,
yeah.
yes.
And I was like, because I love that show.
Yeah,
I watched that show
fantastic.
religiously.
Rock of Love, very underrated show.
Underrated.
Great
The first
program.
2 seasons, great. And remember, the girl who won first season was really cute.
Yeah.
Now, as like I said, so whenever we're going to Celebration, people have been asking this, so I guess we'll be a little bit more clear on this. What I'm aiming to do for Star Wars Celebration, has not been confirmed yet, waiting for some confirmation on the people who run the convention. I'm looking to do, because last year we did a Schmoedown from inside the convention. We will do that again. I'm looking to do that on a Thursday. Also looking to do a Jedi Council, I think, on a Sunday, and then we're looking to do Rule of 2 on a Friday. But on Saturday night,
Josh Macuga talks Star Wars, just you and
yeah, well,
it's gonna be legit.
On Saturday night, though, we're looking to do a Schmoedown outside of the convention. Ideally, what I'd love to get, not confirmed by a long shot yet, is for the Star Wars Championship, Alex Damon versus Sam Witwer. That's the big fight. That's the one I want. But I
Both
gotta
busy fellas.
Damon can do it. I got Damon. Damon said, Damon tells me, like, if I can lock down Witwer, he's in and he wants to play. I think I can get 1,000 people in that theater if I can get the two of those guys in there. But I gotta get Witwer. I gotta see it. So I'm working on it.
I don't know if there's enough nerds in the vicinity.
Yeah, right. And that convention. And then May we're looking to go back to New York. Then July we're looking to go to San Diego.
To New York in May.
Okay, and then San Diego, and then we're looking to do Orlando. We're looking to do Houston. There's a lot of things. So we're gonna be traveling a lot. I'd love to do maybe something like a Collider Live maybe the night before. If Ellis doesn't have a comedy show,
right?
That's because he's doing a comedy
Friday,
show.
a Saturday, a Sunday. There's a Thursday too.
But there's also ways that you can get the theater where we could do a Collider Live for like an hour, and then Ellis does, and then some stand up and Ellis headlines.
If you did Nebraska, that'd be great. Let's do a Nebraska one. I've been able to afford to go see my mom in a while.
You want to go? Sure. You want to compete? How about you versus Dan Merle versus Bibiani?
I'm ready to compete.
Okay, good.
We talked. I'm ready.
How far down on the list is Boston?
It's not that it's far down. I've done polls. I got to look when I go on Twitter and I post where you want to go. I take that into consideration because like the first two when I did it was New York and Chicago. Those were like the two big ones. And I was like, okay, well let's do New York and Chicago, and then it was Orlando. Actually, where was it? Was it Toronto? I think Toronto was pretty big too. So Boston, I put Boston out there. It was.
Where are you at?
I got to be able to pack it out. I want to sell out. Like I want to make sure.
There's no reason to go if you don't.
No.
Yeah, I want to make sure that. I mean, New York sold out in 3 days. I believe Chicago will sell out faster. I really do. I think Chicago's going to sell out faster, and that's saying something. L.A. still, I love L.A. I live here, but as far as tickets, L.A. They're stoned out of their faces,
right?
Because it's like they know they can get the tickets. It took a month to sell out the last two events, and New York was like 3 days. So
yeah, but LA and
free for all better sell out quick. I mean, 35 competitors of everybody. It's better sell out quick.
Right. I love that you always do the big events on days that I can't be there. It's just
what do you have in March?
Family wedding, of course.
And that's a big one too.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of good surprises for the free for all.
Yeah.
It's going to feel way more like the Royal Rumble, which by the way is going to be happening this Saturday, which is big. And then speaking of WWE, the great Booker T. The 5-time champion will be calling in today to.
Can you dig it?
That's right.
Sucker,
nice.
sucker.
Good call. I can't wait to talk to Buck. I love Buck. He's one of my favorite people.
I have no idea who this human is, but
Booker T.
Booker T.
No.
Booker T was the guy. He was on the Schmoedown.
Oh, that.
You know who it is. Yeah.
He's been on the Schmoedown.
Yeah,
I just don't watch any wrestling.
He's coming. Well, don't tell him that when he calls
No,
in.
of course not. I'll just step away. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
Do not say garbage, people.
Yeah, not to him.
No, of course not. I'm not trying to get into a fight with a giant man.
Yeah, you don't want to fight him.
No.
Who did you almost get in a fight with?
Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was almost. I don't know if it was a fight.
He just. It wouldn't have been a fight.
It was my
It would
favorite.
have been me running as fast as humanly possible down a street.
He was like, I have a very long reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the look on your face is priceless.
Yeah.
It was the end of it. And then what was brought up yesterday briefly, but we didn't get into it. But what's that?
I've been overlooked, slept on, stepped on, left for dead, always against.
No, it wasn't that. It was Bad Boys. We talked about briefly.
Shooting in Atlanta right now, right outside my cousin's apartment. He sent me a picture of Will Smith yesterday.
Are you gonna fire
Oh.
her?
No.
If you were a true fan, you would.
Well, I mean, sure, but I want something to do while I'm there. I'm just going to be some creep on the outside.
Weirdo, taking a picture like Chalamet talking to Bill.
Yeah.
Be an extra.
Did you? No, what we were talking about yesterday was your Tobey Maguire interview.
Oh yeah, it's classic.
Albeit briefly, not Tobey Maguire.
Oh yeah,
It was Tobey Maguire. Was it? No.
Yes.
What are you trying to
Oh,
say?
it was
Tobey
Tobey
Maguire
Maguire.
for Pawn Sacrifice.
Have you ever seen the interview they did with Tobey Maguire?
No.
Oof.
Yeah,
It's tough.
What's woof?
Tough to watch.
As the
Toby's
YouTube
woof?
comment said it best, the day film journalism died.
Yeah, a little bit.
Your woof or he's woof?
I'll give it was Macuga's woof.
Yeah, it's fine. He's the worst. I love that in Molly's game. That's Tobey Maguire.
Can we pull it up or
love
no?
that.
Nah, it's tough to watch.
It's fine.
You gotta. I think it's like 80,000 views or something.
Yeah.
How many views? Just check out how many views it
Well,
has.
what's the point of it? Like,
So
what is
here's the
Pawn
story.
Sacrifice
Here
is
we
a
go.
good movie, serious movie. Plays Bobby Fischer, right?
Pretty good.
Didn't he play Bobby Fischer?
He plays Bobby Fischer.
Yeah, he plays Bobby.
Little Bobby Fischer
So
and the juice?
here's what happens.
I got it, Roxy.
Thanks, man.
We get invited to the premiere at the London Hotel. I had just started dating my now wife. Okay, and we got
74,000. Okay.
we got They had an open bar. It was like a big dinner. It was a very small screening of this movie because nobody really went to see it. It was an indie that was
Small
about.
movie.
It was a small
London's
movie.
the nicest.
I liked the movie a lot.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was fine. Stephen Knight, one of the writers on it, who's also wrote Peaky Blinders, all that kind of stuff.
So just to give you a little,
The first comment.
look at it. This will tell you everything that you need to know about the interview, Roxy. Read that first comment.
All right, let's start this interview by calling him a whiny 2-year-old. Great job, bud.
Yeah.
Oh no, what happened? Can I see it?
Yeah,
We really
You can
can't
watch it later. Just watch it later.
You don't want to see the beginning.
No, because I had to watch the hot sauce video yesterday. Not watching this video.
This is how I
today.
feel about the firecracker every time you make
Yeah.
me watch.
Yeah, all right,
Remember
that's
this
fine.
moment.
All right,
Watch it-
so
watch
we
it
won't have to
later.
make you do that. But
It's fair. I don't
that
wanna
video
watch
is
either.
all of 3 seconds of
Yeah.
him just throwing a hammer.
What's worse, the tampon video or this one?
The tampon.
Tampon.
Some of it is rough.
It sucks. I've woofed so many times. It sucks.
No, I don't
Watching
care.
yourself-
I didn't
You do.
care.
You
I
should-
don't.
You should.
No,
I
don't.
don't.
He didn't. I'll tell you, he doesn't. Like,
I don't.
I
yeah.
should.
Why?
Well,
When
didn't
you
see the
woof,
interview.
I think you should care.
But it
when you
wasn't a
woof.
woof. It was a different type of woof.
I don't care if they woof, but if I woof, I'm mad
But
at
it was a
myself.
different type.
No. You
wanted to piss him off.
I did.
Yeah, you shouldn't have, but you did.
I don't like that.
But you're
man.
not doing the junket for Josh Macuga.
Right.
We were doing it for a soundbite, and
Well-
did we get it?
Well, I said to you that day.
So I
we
mean,
talked
Did we
after.
get the bite?
Well, we got.
What was
set-
the
yeah,
bite?
well, you
Just watch the
watch the
interview.
video.
I can't. I'm on the show.
You watch it afterwards. You can watch it with the Spider-Man trailer.
oh man.
I brought this up on the show at least 5 other times.
Easily. We've been talking about this. I mean, that's like 4 years old.
This it's 4 years old.
It's a show we used to
anyway.
do called Schmoedown. You would have loved it.
So I get drunk at this open bar thing, clearly, right?
Okay. You were hammered when you did the interview.
Dude, we were out till 5 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
After my interview
It's the reason
started.
why you don't do our interviews anymore.
Yeah, well, we don't do those anymore.
Well, that's true too.
I was out till like 5 in the morning after this thing, ran into some friends at this junket. Then, it was when Amanda and I were first started dating. We went out to meet friends. Hollywood night kind of took over, whatever. My junket started at 8:30 in the morning. Roll in there, eyes swollen shut, stop at the bar, drink a Bloody Mary at the Four Seasons, go up to the room. They're like, here are your first 3 people. The first 3 went fine. It's junket interviews. They're 4 minutes,
Anybody-
right? Michael Stuhlbarg, who's awesome. He was fantastic, really good interview. But just plain kind of a situation. And then I had a bunch of rapid fire questions ready for Tobey Maguire, right? I interviewed a couple of the producers, writers. They were fine. You'll never get views on those, and you know it. So you just do your 4 minutes, right? Tobey Maguire, I go in there, and his publicist, she's like, okay, so just so you know, before you go in there, there's no questions about Spider-Man. There's no kind of games. There's no kinds of anything. Only questions about Pawn Sacrifice and his experience. And I was like, done.
Yeah.
All right, I'll respect the publicist's thing. But that pissed me off.
They're supposed to send that out before,
Right?
too. That sucks.
But fuck off. Like, nobody's going to go see this movie. Don't you want something fun to do?
Yeah.
Don't you want something fun? Okay? So I go in there.
Stop,
and-
you idiots.
Yeah.
I think that means he's on the
No, he's not on the line.
I'm trying to tell you that he's on the line.
Wait, he's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the line?
Yes, I didn't want to interrupt the
You
conversation.
shouldn't interrupt. Wait, I didn't realize he was calling it. Book, you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here, bro. What's going on?
Booker T in the house. I didn't realize you were calling in so early. How are you, my man?
Man, I just listened to the conversation, man, but I'm here, making me a little breakfast.
Oh,
Little
good.
late breakfast, but yeah. What's going on, man?
Nothing, man. I wanted to talk to you. So, listen, Brad. Obviously, Brad is. Where'd you find Brad? Man, that kid's a superstar.
What are you talking about?
His
Man, that kid walked into my office, man. 19 years old, ambitious, rosy cheeks, looking for a gig, and I hooked him up, and we've been partners ever since.
Yeah, man. Brad Gilmore, obviously, he did a lot of our coverage for the Schmoedown Spectacular, and he works with you, obviously, on Reality of Wrestling. And he told me, he's like, he sent me a text, and he goes, "Listen, man, Book's coming out of retirement. Book's gonna fight." And I said, "Wow!" And I heard, and then I started to see the footage.
Let's not say coming out of retirement. Booker T came out, coming out for a fight, that's one thing, but coming out of retirement, that's something totally
Well,
different.
that's true. That is true. But you come in and do one more match the fans get to see, because as we know, WWE Hall of Famer here, Booker T, you're going to be going into the ring for one last time, and you're going to battle Reality of Wrestling champion Rex Andrews at The Last Stand. Match is going to be available on pay-per-view on demand on January 19th and on January 19th on realityofwrestling.com. So tell me, why was this the one where you said, I'm going to do it, one last match here?
It's something Rex, man. And, Rex is something he wanted to get off his chest. He wanted to get out there and test it. And Rex made a challenge. He said, if I didn't wrestle him, he was going to leave Reality of Wrestling. Now, that's something I couldn't have. I couldn't have Rex Andrews leaving Reality of Wrestling. He's definitely one of my top guys, and along with a couple of, other, guys that I'm looking forward to, seeing these guys make it to the big stage. And I say, let me do it. Let me come out and test this kid, see exactly what he has, and see if he got what it takes to make it to the next level. That's what it's about more than anything. As well as, first show of the year, 2019. I want eyes on reality of wrestling. I want people to see what kind of talent we got in reality of wrestling. So, hey, this is just a moment to put eyes on us. You know what I mean? Check it out and see exactly, what you like about reality of wrestling and what you don't like about it. Let us know. We're in it for the fans.
Well, yeah, man, and that's the thing, because what you guys have done with reality of wrestling, the arena itself is really cool. I saw the footage to where you kind of came out, accepted the challenge, and by the way, dude, you are in tremendous shape. I mean, the fact you talk about a guy hasn't fought in a while. You're keeping yourself in shape, and it looks like when I worked with you back in 2001, it looks like no difference. How do you do it?
Bro, trust me, I feel a lot different.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. Age, waits for no man. Time waits for no man. But I have fun, man. I'm trying to stay in the best shape I possibly can. I'm 53 years old. I've got to show my I got to show my students, man, that that their teacher can still go out there and throw hands, can still go out there and perform at a certain level. No matter how old you are in this business, it's still always about the performance. And, these guys, they're young guys, they're so ambitious. They go out there and they got so much energy. But for me to actually be able to go out there and show them a little bit of, a little Shakespeare, a little Romeo and Juliet, less is more. That's what I try to teach my guys. So when they make it to that next level, they'll know exactly what it's all about.
Well, good. And I'm sure you're going to show Rex the goods when you get in there, man, too, because he doesn't know who he's messing with. I'm happy to watch him. I'm happy to hear about it. And the other thing too is because we were talking about it right before you called in. The Schmoedown. We're going live in a lot of different places this year. And one of the places we want to hit Houston, man. And we'd love for you to come on out when we do that.
Hey man, we got the World Gym Arena. I'm waiting for you guys, man. We could do a live show there. We could stream it. So. I got you guys back, man. I'm always.
I know.
You guys have given me a lot of love, man, over the years, man. So I'm back at you, bro.
Well, we're going to continue to give you love, guys. I want you to make sure that you check out Reality Wrestling, and it is the great Booker T. Again, one more time, he's going to be stepping into the ring against Rex Andrews at The Last Stand, January 19th. On realityofwrestling.com. Champ, it was great to have you on again. I can't wait to get you in studio one of these days. Once you're in LA, you got to come by because you're doing a lot for WWE still. Yes.
Yeah, man. I'm getting ready for the Rumble. You know what I mean? We got the Elimination Chamber going down here in Houston in February. So yeah, man, I'm still all about the work, man. Still getting the work done. Just more behind the scenes these days. And I actually love it, man. Having hands on from this perspective. So. Just stay tuned. When I'm out in the LA area, man, I'll give you a shout. We'll schmo it up.
I would love that. I wanted to ask you because you mentioned the Royal Rumble. I saw this last night to where Braun Strowman's out and now Finn Balor getting a shot at Lesnar. Can the size difference obviously is tremendous, but you think Finn can pull it off?
Finn has been totally underestimated as far as ability go. I mean, before this guy ever got to WWE. The radar was on Finn Balor, coming into WWE, the first Universal Champion, proved that he can go out there and play with the big boys. Now he's going to get the ultimate test against Brock Lesnar. And the thing is, he may not have a way when he go into the match, but he's going to have to find a way somewhere along that ride. Can he do it? I think he can. We'll find out here soon.
Hey, Booker T, Josh Macuga. Listen, if we come down to Houston or you're in LA, I think the fans want to see you kick the crap out of me or any of your wrestlers because I've been kind of vocal as I don't watch a lot of wrestling, so I'd like you to actually show me that getting my ass kicked in the ring would actually be a pretty fun time for the fans to witness.
We always can oblige when it comes to a good ass whoop.
All right, but
no, seriously, man, that's what Texas is all about, man. So show up, man. We'll definitely get it done.
Awesome. Booker T, thank you so much, champ. Pleasure having you on as always. Can't wait to see you soon.
All right, bro. Holla back, man.
All right, later.
What a doll.
He's the best.
Booker T.
Booker T is the
Such a
best.
doll.
He's good. I mean,
Now I remember Booker T in the early part of the Schmoedowns was doing like those call-ins.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's so great when people appreciate that you give them love.
Yeah.
Because not that he needs it from us.
Well,
but
we had a great partnership.
Yeah.
Because when he the first he found the Schmoedown, he told Brad about it, and then Brad he sent this whole thing about when Rocha beat Dan Murrell for the title. Book sent in this video of congratulating Rocha, and Rocha's a hardcore wrestling fan, you know. So I sent it to Rocha. He's like, "Oh my god!" And then I started talking with Brad, and then he's like, "Book would love to do like a segment for you guys," and I was like, "Awesome!" So he started doing the segment. And then we started letting him, he was like, listen, yeah, do the segment, shout out Reality Wrestling. So the Schmoedown fans started going on over to Reality Wrestling and give him a lot of love, and he pays it forward. You know, so.
I feel like he's one of those guys who doesn't realize how famous he really is.
Right.
Like, just super humble.
No, yeah. He was
Seems
going
like
to
such a
I think
doll.
he was going to run for like the mayor of Houston. I think if he didn't look that up, I think at one point he
Do you realize that Houston's like the 3rd largest city in the country or something
man.
crazy? Like our 4th largest behind Chicago.
Have you ever been there?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've never been there.
Houston's a fun town, man.
It's I have such a clear image in my mind that's probably so inaccurate.
It's Nick Mundy gave me a couple recommendations of restaurants to go to on there, and then I went to a Houston Astros game, and it was a blast.
Really?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
What were you
Houston's
there
super
for?
fun. I used to do a lot of corporate hosting for American Heart Association, so they had sent me down there to do some events, and
That's a cool gig.
yeah, it was cool.
So
Yeah.
he did run for Houston mayor, I guess too.
He wasn't elected?
I don't know.
That'd be shocking.
They said that he was going to.
Oh, it's the corrupt system. If you don't elect Booker T, you're in.
I mean, yeah. Look,
This guy's awesome.
Jesse Ventura did it.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger did it. Cobbster, I apologize. I didn't realize that you were trying to flag us down for the phone call.
What did you think?
Oh, that's cool.
What did I think was happening?
Did she mess with you?
A lot of times, Cody and Cobbster like to amuse themselves back there with pictures and stuff, and it's funny sometimes.
Whoa, we take our job very seriously.
How dare
Okay,
you.
sir.
How many close-ups have you done of Brett's beard?
I was
Actually,
looking
none
at-
yet. We were tempted to do it during the interview. We're like, nah, not during the interview.
Okay,
I'm
thank you.
listening to Macuga's junket drinking story, and I'm seeing it up there, and I was like, wow, Kristian's really invested in this story that he doesn't want to take Booker T's call.
I didn't. Well, because I thought because they picked up the picture before, I
Yeah.
thought because there was a picture of him staring, so I thought because of Macuga's history of
Yeah,
wrestling,
yeah.
I'm okay. Well, they're just messing with it, and then he's
I just thought you
flicking
were
her
really
around.
into the story.
No, I've heard the story a million times. But there's a story that we didn't even tell yet.
Oh.
There's a story we didn't even tell yet. You're gonna tell.
Should I finish the Tobey Maguire, or should we
Nah,
just
it's
leave
over.
it?
It's over.
Okay. Cool.
You're gonna tell
You'll see it.
you're gonna tell your wife a big secret about yourself.
Oh yeah.
soon.
So
What?
I'm gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Saw it coming a
I
mile
mean,
away.
according to a guy who creepily DM'd my wife on Instagram on Sunday, I have 2 years to reveal my true identity as a homosexual man that will ruin our family. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay. This is
Okay,
from the
Seinfeld.
direct. No, this is from the message. The guy wrote, "Not that there's anything wrong with being
that.
gay,
That's
but your
awesome.
husband is most definitely gay." And Amanda rolls over. She's like, "Are you gay?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm not gay. No, not at all."
Here's the thing.
This guy just didn't like
I
my
just
take
think,
on Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he just saw a video on either here or wherever, and he was like, "You know what? I'm gonna email his wife, tell him he's gay, so break up their marriage, and then whatever."
Right,
Who
think he
knows?
did.
I've got the master
There are
plan.
people that, married or not, you speculate about. Macuga, not one of them. Just
Yeah, I mean,
no,
again,
not getting that vibe.
there's not. I'm not going to pull the Seinfeld thing, but I think either it was because one time I was out playing golf, right here in Southern California, and this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Are you Josh Macuga?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I went to high school with your wife. She was my biggest crush." And then he just drove away.
Really?
And I was like, "What the hell is
Maybe it's
going
that guy.
on?" Yeah, and it was at my uncle's country club of all places. He's like, "That was weird." He's like, "I'm going to have to report that guy that works here."
Wow.
That's
Wait, he worked
He
there?
bizarre.
worked there. He's a
Did you
person
ask
that worked
Amanda
there.
who
That's
it
probably
was?
his last day.
Yeah. Yeah, he don't work there
Yeah, it
anymore.
was his last day.
Did you ask her who it was?
Yeah, she said it was some weird,
Weirdo.
random weirdo.
So she
that-
knew the guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. There you
Had
go.
sent her multiple Facebook messages and all that kind of stuff.
Stop DMing.
I got
Josh
a
Macuga's
very
wife.
Yeah,
strange
thank you.
DM last night as well.
Do it.
What was that?
I will pull it up
Is
for
it
you
from
guys right
Brett
now.
Sheridan?
No,
Yes.
it's,
Right.
I get
Why are you
Sorry.
saying nice things?
I get things like this frequently, but it's hard to tell whether I'm more
Why are men so
insulted.
creepy?
It's like you don't know whether you're insulted
met Finstock?
or because of what they're offering or because of what they're doing. So this is the message. Roxy, I love you. I'm 17 years old. I love you so much. I'll give you $100 if you send me nudes. I won't post them. Just keep them for myself.
$100?
So that's insulting, right?
Yeah,
$100.
lowballing,
Right,
man.
so
I
like-
mean,
Kid's 17.
come on.
17 years old.
Here's the
Get a
question.
job at
I
an
sent her a
athlete.
grand.
Is it okay that my first reaction is that's too little?
Yeah, right.
Like it wasn't like F this guy, that's disrespectful. It was like $100.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Well, if you did that, you could get in trouble for
He's 17.
Yeah.
Don't put that in the message,
sending
bro.
pictures
Right.
Not that I'm going to send him to you anyway, but
But it's
don't
even
start with
worse.
that.
Don't come in hot with your age already. Be like,
Right.
I'm barely 19.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's weird. And then also, like, we're looking in the thousands at least.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
I mean, how much are you? How much is your self worth?
Sounds like a bait. It sounds like a cop.
Yeah,
This is a
right.
legitimate, like self help conference in a Houston Hilton, right?
Right.
What is your self worth? If a 17-year-old reaches out on Instagram and asks you for nudes, how much do you think
A,
you're worth?
$100.
A,
B, $20. C, $2,000. D, $1 billion.
Here's the deal. There's probably a price.
Right?
Roxy, you
That is the
opened up a
worst
window.
thing. That is the worst thing.
This is like the waitress telling us her husband likes
not.
Hitler.
Hey, money in hand though. Get that Skrilla before you send the.
Here's the thing. It's just a body. Like I'm talking an expensive price, but anybody who says there's no price,
Yeah.
somebody.
I do it. Nobody
if you,
wants
If you
them.
believe, then we're not going to post them. You're
But that's the thing.
paying money to get them posted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But there is a price that I would take to have nudes posted of me.
Like Playboy type stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's a price.
Tastefully done.
Yeah.
Nudes.
I mean,
Would you like?
Yes.
Would there ever be a time? Was there ever a time in your life? I mean, Ed, this goes to the table. Was there ever a time in your life where you thought to yourself, if I'm going to be in a movie or something, that you'd have a no nudity clause? Did you ever think I can't be naked on camera?
I thought about that a ton. I actually was offered a role with nudity that I turned down.
You turned it down.
Not because of the
What,
nudity
it was only $100
necessarily.
a day.
Well, it was like a project that I was like, nobody's gonna see this. Now
Right.
I've like burned it on this.
Right.
But I think I would do it for.
Depends on the role.
It's
Yeah.
my body. It's
Right.
not like. I think people make a really large deal of it, and they should if it is a big deal to you. But like, if it's part of the role, I'm not going to be the person. If it's a dream role in a dream
Right.
film, I'm not going to not do it if it's necessary.
Did you see that story like a few weeks back about Frankie Shaw on the set of Smilf, that show on Showtime, where she was like
Her
her show. She's the showrunner. She was kind of like forcing or like nude shaming a couple of the stars to be naked on camera.
Didn't see it.
Oh wow.
Like
I
going
didn't see
into her
that.
trailer and like she's like, "This is me naked. Why can't you be naked?" Kind of a thing, right? And you know, HBO.
See, that's not right.
You can't do
No,
that.
no,
That's
no,
not
that's not right at all.
No.
I'm not vouching.
No,
you know,
we're not saying you are.
HBO hired nudity consultants or sexual consultants for a lot of their shows
Mm-hmm.
now because you know, like Game of Thrones gets kind of crazy and
yeah.
Girls got really wild.
Girls, The Deuce, the show with James Franco, it's like a porn. I mean, that show's a porn. And to have the nudity sexual consultants on there to say, like, this is this, this is that, it adds like a whole other thing. I get it. You know, like showing your body is one thing if it's tastefully done, all that kind of thing. And there's a lot of people that don't want to do it because, like, I don't want to see my dad to see a sex scene where I'm naked kind of a thing.
Right.
Or, you know, brothers or whatever the case may be. But there is like a place and time.
And it's so overused these days.
Yeah,
It
right?
has to actually be necessary, and it so rarely is anymore.
Right. I mean, it is weird when like a post-sex scene happens in a movie and they're still clothed. And you're like, this doesn't happen. But if the sheet's up here,
Yeah.
it's fine. But like, you're still in a shirt. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean? Like
agree.
right post-sex.
Yeah, it's
agree.
got to fit, and the scene itself needs to fit into what the movie is. Like there's stars that I've heard of, a couple, one in particular, that has said, "Well, I want to write a sex scene into this movie," and I know there's a particular actress who's like, "That wasn't in the scene. I don't want to do that." Yeah, but so and so says that he wants to do it. She's like, "No, it has nothing to do with the movie."
And
it was
you
just
should
written
say
in there.
no in that case,
and like
of
it's like, but he's a
course.
big star. She's, I don't care. It was like, and so it never happened. Thank God. And she stood up for what she believed in, didn't do it, and didn't happen. But
I mean, that just makes sense.
But there is a
plus, they didn't
price.
and those roles,
She's just
they
saying.
weren't even love interests.
Right.
It was like
It just didn't make
they like
sense.
worked together, and then it just happened like one random night or
Well,
something. That's what he wanted to do.
What's pretty challenging now about the fact that everybody does everything is that sometimes the same people that are writing the scripts and directing them are also starring in them, and
Right.
so you get to write things that you want to participate in,
Right.
which is pretty borderline sketchy at times.
Yes. Yeah.
And so if you're able to write yourself in a scene where you're hooking up with the hottest chick in the room, who's not going to do that,
Right.
Right.
Well,
even
there
if
you
it
go.
doesn't make sense?
True. Well, there you go. So stop sending Josh Macuga's wife DMs.
And start up in your prize with Roxy.
And Roxy has opened a floodgate of there's a prize.
It's too expensive for
a
anybody, like
17-year-old?
one person to send to me. I'm just saying there is a price.
I'll give you
Roxy
the
rolls
whole
in a
Blu-ray
Benz tomorrow.
set to.
I'll give you my Die Hard Ho 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 Merry Christmas DVD for one nipple.
We're talking rent for at least a couple years.
Years.
Yeah,
Sure, there you go.
yeah. It's a big price.
All right, listen. I want to talk to Perri about yesterday though, because she was supposed to be in here and we didn't have a chance to.
Where does she go when she's not there?
Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
She's a
but
very busy
you know
girl.
what, Cobbster? Before we go get Perri, did you get her already?
No.
There's no picture of her.
Oh, we are getting her. Okay.
Yes, but don't get her yet.
Okay.
Because I have a question for you.
Yes.
So now we've talked about this on the air many times. So if you, just to paint the picture, the way that the office is set up, right? And you walk in, there's a couple offices in the back, and then there's the pen where like you and Roca and Perri and everybody sits, and then off the side, in the far corner is Cobbster. Next to Cobbster is Cody, which makes sense because it's Cobbster and Cody for life.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a couple more editors, and then now in the corner is quite arguably the most loudest corner that we have with Frosty, Ryan Satin. We have Vinny.
Vin Mancuso says no words.
He talks more than you know.
I'm saying no loud words,
does.
if you will.
Yeah, when they get into the wrestling, you just haven't heard them because they're talking wrestling,
Gotcha.
so you shut it down.
Turn off.
But it's loud over there. Mm-hmm. So I was shocked. I was shocked to find out yesterday that Cobbster had moved his desk, because Cobbster has been vocal. Cobbster has moved his desk directly next to that corner.
Why did he do that? On purpose?
That's
the Adam Smith, or the old Joey Razul desk?
Yes, he's right next to like Satin and Frosty,
Cobbster.
to where he can't because Frosty.
Is it a bigger desk or?
No,
New year,
Cobbster,
new you, buddy.
What's the thought process here?
Listen, New Year's resolutions are about challenges. You got to challenge yourself.
Yeah, man.
No, that's not it at all.
No.
Listen, did I not think about the loudness when I accepted the deal with Adam to change? No. It wasn't until I sat there I was like, oh yeah, that's right. The loudest people in the office are over here. Because it is very frustrating when we don't have our own bay or our own office, because when we're working on certain projects and we're kind of in the zone, we want it to be dark. The lights are always on here. We need to be plugged in with our music. And then you have people just talking, not all day long, but there's periods of time where people are just talking and talking and talking.
Right.
The honest truth about the movie is that's just like, I don't know, I'm weird because like I need to have things changed sometimes. Sometimes I don't
switch.
Yeah, I don't like being in the same place at the same time.
So
you
he
left Cody in the dust.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
he offered it, and then you accepted, or what happened?
No, I suggested it to Adam because,
Adam was like, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah. Well, they're the same desks basically, and he didn't want to leave that sort of corner, hub of a desk. And I said, well, it kind of makes sense that if I'm sitting next to Remsen, we're both the editors. Cody and Adam are sitting next to each other because they're constantly working on all their shows together. So I was like, that makes sense. And then, now I'm sitting in the loud corner.
Yeah, in the loud corner.
Yeah.
Well, all right. And
Wow.
Listen.
I'm thinking bad move.
I want to say, well, look, there's another thing to this, and we won't. So apparently there's a cigarette smell around that corner too. Is that true?
Oh, where?
Where you used to be.
Used to be? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Was that a big bother or not as much?
Only one day.
Okay.
There was only one day.
Okay,
Yeah,
so not.
Yeah.
So it was really
It's
just
one
about
person?
the move. I don't know.
it was just about the move. It wasn't anybody in particular. or
All right.
anything
Well,
like that.
this is a scenario that we're gonna have to tune back into because I want to see how you're gonna handle it.
But in Cobbster's defense, there is really no smell that is worse, and this is coming from a guy that loves smoking cigarettes, than somebody that comes in on like a wet day after having smoked
It's
a
the worst
cigarette
smell in the
it's
world.
just
It's
the worst.
2019. You don't have to smell like cigarettes.
Yeah. Well, but listen.
There's so many options.
Yeah, but he says it's not the reason why. He said he wanted to do it for the shot. I'm gonna see. I don't know how this is gonna go.
Yeah, I'm interested in myself because I'm actually very. I can be. I'm an asshole. I'm a fucking dick. I am an asshole.
Sometimes.
I can be. And
I really like you.
And I thank you, Roxy.
I
I
like you too, buddy.
Oh my god,
I like you, but you're right. You can be.
But I also sometimes like to make sure the other person knows that I can be an asshole and I will say something to them. And I am very sarcastic with people too. And if it goes over their head, then it's just like, okay, that's just a win for me.
I just feel like there's a lit powder keg in that corner now.
Oh, maybe.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I'm
Old
just
Cobby short fuse over there.
That's what I think. And he's been he's been in a phenomenal mood since 2019 started. I have I haven't seen Grouchy Cobbster yet, but it's a long
beard.
year.
Hashtag new year, new me.
Hashtag long year.
Hashtag long beard.
Oh,
all right. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I'm back.
Well, good luck to you. Let's
Who's
get
the person in the office you guys would like to least sit next to?
Ryan Satin.
The least.
he's a very loud
That's where
individual.
you just
but-
move.
Yeah, well, yeah. See,
I know.
Right.
That was the joke.
It's not. I happen to really like Ryan. I think he
He's
and
a
I.
good dude.
He and I get along very well, and we talk about wrestling a lot. He took me to an event one time. He's got a really good insight. He's got good views and stuff. He's really loud.
It's a
and
thing.
there's nothing he can do about it. It's just who he is. I wouldn't in that corner. I wouldn't be able to do it.
And it's not just with him. There's times when people are loud all throughout the office, but it's not like a certain obnoxious loud, like I'm loud to be loud. It's loud like I want everyone to hear what I'm talking about, and I want everyone to know what my point is on this. And it's like not everybody cares.
Right, it's true.
Not everybody cares.
All right, well, good
So
luck. Good
all
luck
of
to
you
you,
guys?
sir.
All of us, yeah.
Yeah, good luck, buddy. All right, let's get Perri in that room over there so we can talk to Perri because I have a lot of questions I want to ask Perri.
About what? Critics' Choice?
Glass.
Critics' Choice, but then she saw Glass last night, and she gave
Is
her.
the embargo?
I did
yeah,
also.
it dropped a while ago.
okay.
Was that you saw it last night also?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had already seen it.
No, I saw it last night.
Oh, all right. Well, good. Then we'll get both your points of view. Then that'd be
But
good.
if I had already seen it, you wouldn't have wanted my point of view?
No. I figured I would have heard it already.
It's fresh.
I just forgot about it.
Fresh, so fresh and so clean.
It's fresh and clean because it's always good to hear you guys. I think you're in opposing points of view again. I think so. So it'll be nice to hear. I also want to get Perri. Perri saw what I was talking about yesterday with Finstock on the outside.
Oh,
So I want
From
to
the
get
Critics' Choice.
Yeah, I want to get Perry's point of view on it too. So is she in the room?
Yeah.
Okay, Perri Nemiroff is joining us. Hello, Perri.
Hi.
Hi, Perry.
Yes, Perri, you're supposed to be in here yesterday, and then you were.
I was supposed to be in there today too, but apparently there's no room for me.
I'll leave.
Oh yeah.
I'm
didn't
just
see
kidding.
Glass.
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
you're on camera. You're on
No,
camera
I'm
there.
just kidding.
Yeah, you're on
I'm just
camera there.
kidding.
Yeah, we got her on camera.
Seriously, if she wants to come in, I'm.
No, I'm good here.
Now that Perry-
I like Cody's company.
For the next 3 hours, Perry beats herself up over that comment.
Yeah, but yesterday,
Probably.
Yesterday though, you were supposed to come in, and then because you stepped away from your desk for a second, and they said they couldn't find you.
Yep.
You avoided the show.
That's like the opposite of what I was doing, but if you want to put it that way, fine.
No,
It
you were
seems
not.
like it though.
No,
I'm
she was
sorry.
pissed.
Most of the times we try to find Perry, it's like Phineas and Ferb. Like, where's Perry? I don't know if you guys know that.
That's what I was
but-
asking. Where is she? Where do you go, Perry? Like the bathroom, obviously, but do you do a walk situation?
Probably not the bathroom because my coffee normally lasts me until about noon. So if I'm disappeared before noon, it's not for that reason, but conference room, talking to people, prepping for a bajillion shows that day.
So working.
Yeah, she's working, but well, she was
not fun.
She came in hot yesterday because and I liked it because she's like, what happened? I'm supposed to be on the show. Because the other time you're talking about, we wanted to talk about something.
Yeah.
And she was working on something. She just couldn't do the show. But she wanted to be on yesterday. She's like, what happened? And I was like,
We
tried
sent them out.
I said, we tried to find you a couple times. She's like, I was here. I was wait for my desk for maybe 5 minutes. But anyway, we talked
No
about
way. We tried to find her multiple times. 5 minutes.
how many times Alex and Cobbster, how many times legit did we try to find Perri? To be honest.
9?
Yes, there it is.
You guys know we have these
9.
magical things called cell phones, and we also use a system called Slack.
Slack sucks.
We're not allowed to use our cell phones.
Yeah. Perri, have you learned anything about us that where we hate Slack and the calendar? At least I do.
Which is the complete opposite thing that you should be thinking. It's so helpful to have
hate it.
resources that actually tell you what's happening in your
I
studio.
can't
Part
stand
of your
it.
job, but I'm not going to tell you how to
I
work.
don't like Slack or the calendar. Can't stand either one.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
It goes
me
in my
neither.
phone. Thank you,
Welcome.
Roxy.
I got you.
You're
Perri,
missing out on the joy of Giphies in Slack.
That's exactly why I
that's
dropped. That's
smart.
that
exactly.
would brighten your day.
That is exactly why I dropped out of those chats. It's like everybody is. It's open mic at the Comedy Store in the Slack
What
chat.
else? What else? What else? Giphy. What else? What else? What
Yeah,
else?
it's
Giphy.
enough. Yeah,
I also don't like the word givey.
that's fine. Well,
Sounds-
that has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
All right, Perri. Let's talk about the Critics'
Sounds
Choice
negative.
Awards.
Okay.
This is your third or fourth time?
My third.
Third time. And your first guest ever was Roka, huh?
It was.
Wow, that's a big choice for the first awards there. So you go to the second one last year. You brought your sister. This year you bring your close friend from home.
From home from New York. I brought Christy. She was on Movie Talk yesterday. It was her Movie Talk debut, and she crushed it.
I like that, Christy.
Proud of her. Yeah, she's.
Does she work in the film industry?
She does.
Oh,
she
cool.
works. She freelances for so many different sites, but one of her main ones is Pajiba, and they write some great content over there. So if you've never explored that site, I highly recommend going over there after the show.
How do you spell Pajiba?
Jiba. So Pajiba.
Right.
It also sounds like a dirty word.
Yeah. Well, she gets that. She said that she gets that a lot.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. But she was a cool chick. She was.
I can't picture Perri hanging out with anybody who's not cool.
No, she was really cool, and she was one of those people who just can go up to anybody, talk to anybody, had a lot of good conversations. It was nice to kind of talk to her. It was also there. Perri, I don't know if you remember because everybody was drinking pretty heavily. Do you remember the conversation that her and Finstock had at one point in the corner?
I do remember this conversation.
Oh my God, it was incredible. The two of them. Like, I don't know what. I don't want to bring it up because there's certain personal things inside of the conversation. I don't know who's comfortable with what talking about.
Like a sexy talk?
Of course it was.
It went in a lot of different areas.
But like the two of them together? Sexy?
Yes.
I could have listened to that conversation for hours.
That's what I meant. Like there was a lot of those types of conversations, and so watching, like, see, what did you? Were you there, by the way, to witness? Because I want to also have somebody who can back me up. When I said that every 5 to 10 minutes, Tom was getting complimented on that jacket.
The two of them, because he kept getting complimented on his jacket, and then did you see hers?
Yeah.
It was like this bright pink coat, and the second we walked into that building, every single person that saw it was like, that coat's awesome.
Was she in a dress underneath the coat?
She had a dress under the coat,
There we go.
Yeah, she got mad at me because I said, it was a cool coat, but I said, it looks like you skinned Barney, right? And she was mad at me that I said
Do you know that women don't like that kind of thing?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that out after I
Shocking
said it.
coming from a dude that's been married for almost 10 years and has 2 daughters.
Yeah. It was,
and Barney's purple, not pink.
That's exactly what she said. It went over. It went over
not
terribly.
fact.
You've done your research.
Went over terribly. I backstepped in and let Finstock continue and realized I was like, that didn't go over the way it was. It was. I bombed like a Giphy and Slack.
What were you intending?
I thought it was funny. It's just like it looked.
You
like
were looking for a laugh.
That joke
I thought
was
it was
really
good. It was good.
I missed it. You bombed like a Giphy and Slack.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Women love it when you comment on their outfits in a negative way.
Yes.
But it wasn't a negative
always
way.
gonna kill.
Relating it to
When I
skin
said to her,
Barney.
I said that's a compliment. I don't like Barney, and then she did, that was your
I
worst.
don't like Barney, and now you look like him?
Just left.
It's you.
I just backed out.
Yeah.
Purple and green dinosaur?
Didn't go
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But anyway, Perri, the overall event. How did you feel about that night?
I had so much fun. I have a feeling that has something to do with the amount of alcohol I drank that night, and also the good company we had.
Perri, what do you drink? What's your drink of choice?
I'm surprised none of you in that room know this at this
Scotch.
point. I only drink beer, typically anything with like an orange flavor, so usually it's Blue Moon.
That's right,
And
you are always drinking Blue
the only
Moon.
other thing I drink is Prosecco.
Prosecco.
It's a good Long
I
Island
was
girl
gonna
for
say
you.
I knew that like the bubbles thing, and then every time we played beer pong, you were always drinking Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good Long Island girl for you.
Yeah.
Why?
Blue
Beer.
Moon, and you got to go to Verdugo West Brewery, and they have the pool noodle.
This is a dumb question for the ladies out there. Perri, you're in redonkulous shape. You drink tons of beer?
Yeah, that's why I need to keep going to the gym, because I'm not going to stop that anytime soon.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Trade-offs.
Well,
trade-off.
usually when you chicks that drink a lot of beer, I mean, I love beer.
Yeah.
I solely don't drink them because I get so full
Doughy.
and I'm huge. I mean, you've seen me lose
Perri
30
runs
pounds over the last few
Perri
years.
runs all day long.
I do run a lot.
Yeah.
I run
Yeah.
a lot.
And she always stands at her desk.
Yeah.
That's
true.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're sitting there, I mean, whether you're talking about drinking a whole lot of beer or not, if you stand up and you're not hunched over for 12
True.
hours a day, it's better for you.
Well, you and I have kind of come up with over the last 2 years a new little system of the way we actually enjoy these award shows now too. It's actually more fun. We don't really sit at our tables anymore. We watch from where the piano is, right near the stage. It's so much more fun that way.
I definitely agree. I think we sat for 5 minutes
Maybe.
the entire night.
I ate my food and then I just stood.
It's better that way. I mean, what's the point in going to the event if you're not going to get up and mingle
Yeah.
with
It's
everyone? I mean, it's a running joke that you're going to run around and take selfies, but it's not just about that. It's about
Right.
talking to all the people who work all across the country that you only see on this one night. And yeah, it's about catching up with the celebrities that came into the studio and seeing how they're doing and congratulating them on their work.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I mean, it's a different thing. Like when you're like Mance and you're sitting at the first man table. I understand you're sitting there the whole time because
Right.
he's got connections with those guys and he's shitting there. So
Right.
shitting there, he took a big shit right at the table.
Huge.
But
I can't picture him doing that.
shitting at the table.
I could.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
That was a big one. Sorry.
Gretchen, get over here.
That's the one.
Gosling, get over here.
Look at this. Look at that shit. That was a ringer.
Sorry, mans. Love you, buddy.
Oh no.
Anyway, Perri. Speaking of shits, you felt I don't feel this way because I actually I had given a pretty positive review for the most part.
Oh.
But I
didn't
don't
know we were going here.
Do you not want to talk about it?
No, I'll talk about it. Whatever.
I just didn't like the ending. You didn't feel this way at all. You not a fan of Glass.
Can I just real quick add in here? Perri is usually a very even keel, happy person. We sit right across from each other. We talk all the time. Perri came in hot.
Yeah.
She's like, no. Nope, didn't. And I was like, whoa, this is Perri when I lost the I, Tonya DVD.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go.
So what? So tell us what were your problems with the movie?
My problems with the movie is that
The movie?
a
No
little
spoilers.
bit. I mean, really, just it's mainly a script issue overall. I thought some of the performances were great. James McAvoy crushes it
Yeah, he's
again,
good.
and I thought Bruce Willis was pretty good for the material he was given, but. The story is super messy. I think that maybe when I rewatch it, certain questions I have are answered somewhere, but on a first viewing, I walked out with so many questions, and you guys know it's M. Night Shyamalan. There's twists and turns and reveals and things that are added to this world that we didn't know about before, and the fact that I had questions about certain major things with that, it leaves you feeling kind of empty and confused. And after everything they had set up with Unbreakable and then Split, you walk into this with high hopes that he's going to knock it out of the park, go 3 for 3, and he didn't. Some of the ideas are cool, but the whole thing was not strung together well.
Right. Yeah. No. Look, I love the first let's say it's a 2-hour movie. I love the first hour and 40 minutes of it. Really liked it a lot. And then the ending just dropped off.
I bet you anything, if I chopped up that movie, I could find at least an hour's worth of content that I liked. I think one of the things, I know everybody laughs when we say connective tissue, but this is a movie where that is completely missing.
Yeah.
It just jumps from one character to the next for no rhyme or reason,
Roxy's
and it kind
over
of
here
kills the
befuddled.
pace of the movie.
Surprise, surprise, Perri. I feel completely
I had a
opposite
feeling.
as you. It's so wild.
You guys should be besties.
Well, they are.
I really like
They
Perri.
get
We
along well.
disagree
They
on
just-
almost
they
all
just don't
movies.
like the same movies
It's
at
the same thing with Dan Merle. Dan Merle and I disagree on every movie choice. So
Right.
Perri, you and Dan should go to the movies together all the time. I thought that the movie was not the movie that I wanted to see. So going in with the expectations I had, what I thought the movie was going to be is not the direction they took it in. So I had to very quickly check myself and be like, you're not the filmmaker, Rox.
Right.
Listen to the story that they're telling because you're clearly not getting what it was
I just
that
like
you
the
wanted.
fact you call yourself Rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third person.
Yeah.
Always Rox.
Yeah.
I'm Rox forever.
I like that.
So I was like, okay, that's not what I'm getting. Once I dropped those expectations, I loved the story. While I didn't like the ending, I loved the end.
Really?
I loved the end.
All right.
So
It's a hard pass for me there.
there's part of the ending that I thought was literally the least necessary thing I've ever seen in a movie. It was so unnecessary.
Yeah.
And then the actual end,
Loved
when I walked out, I was like, wow, I feel so satisfied.
Oh.
I completely understand why I just watched this
Yeah.
movie. What an interesting place to be.
Okay.
And
Cody thought it was the worst movie he's seen in 10 years.
that's not true.
Cody?
Entirely true.
Not entirely.
In 10 years?
No. I don't think he liked it though. But
Did you see A Million Ways to Die in the West?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
He was disappointed by it. He didn't think it stinks.
Wow, I liked it. I liked it. I had to. It's not a great sign when multiple times throughout the movie you kind of have to question yourself, like,
Yeah.
am I enjoying this?
So if you guys were confused about Glass, and I've never seen Split,
You should see
So
Split
you
first.
can't.
Yeah, you
I
gotta see
don't
Split.
think. I think this is a trilogy in which you cannot.
Yeah, you can't
You
miss anything.
cannot see this movie if you have not seen
Yeah.
both Unbreakable and Split.
Agreed.
Got it.
Agreed.
All right.
But Cody, give me your.
I was not
real quick.
confused, though.
What are
At
you? Whose side do you kind of fall more on here? Is it Perri or Roxy?
More on Perri's.
Yeah.
I like the first half a lot, and then something happens, and then it just never recovers.
Yeah, I agree with you, Perri. Overall, how was the read in the room? Because you went to a second screening last night.
Yeah.
And how was the read in the room for most of the
I
people
was
that
at
went?
that screening too.
Oh, okay.
Roxy sat right behind me. The two
Oh.
people I was sitting with, they didn't like the movie, but I will say it got an applause at the
Okay.
end, and you know, there were a lot of laughs throughout. I think sometimes the laughs were warranted, and that's what they were gunning for. And then sometimes it was, I think some of the things that got the most probably inappropriate laughs were when the movie was so on the nose with like, oh, look at this comic book storytelling device that we're using here and we're going to reference it. Everyone in the audience is kind of like, I got the feeling at least that they were all like, oh, we know that this is silly and too on the nose.
I wanted to slaughter our audience last night.
Why?
It made the movie-going experience so much worse.
What happened?
First of all, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This is such a rude comment, but it was a half critics, half fan screening, and tons of people with their devices or with that happens a lot.
And they didn't turn their phones on?
Just doing things. Like, I don't know if you noticed that, Perri, but they were loud, talking to each other. And Perri, we didn't sit that far away from each other.
I know. I'm surprised, considering how close we sat to each other, that I didn't notice any of this. Because normally I'm the first person to spot the one device that's lit up in front of me.
I'm the first person to say something.
The people, it was the person directly behind me and the person to the left of that were having a whole. They were at the movies having a whole conversation with each other, out to lunch. But they had a seat in between them. So and they were talking to each other.
Did they use both rests for their drinks?
I didn't check on that. Okay. So that was frustrating. And then, like you said with the laughing, I was one of the people laughing because other people were laughing, and then I was like, that is funny. But I think I would have thought it was creepier, scarier had I watched this alone by myself, which is what alone means, in my apartment. Like, everybody was laughing, and it was not what the movie was intending.
I don't even know if they were going for creepy, scary. I think there was a very small handful of material in this movie that was trying to be the horror movie in a way that I think Split was. Otherwise, it's big action, and it's very, very talky. Everything with Sarah Paulson is just this epic monologue that drags on and on. She is one of my favorite actors in this industry, and she was putting me to sleep this entire movie.
Yeah,
I thought she did a good job with what she was given.
Well, that's the problem I think that Perri had, is that what she was given for her, correct me if I'm wrong, Perri, was just not good enough for an actress of her caliber.
I don't think it was anything, she did with her performance. It's just that character did not really work for me.
It could have been anybody, and I think that on spoilers, or the spoiler discussion we have about it, we can really dive into that once everybody's seen the movie. But I actually think that was kind of the point, was to blend a lot there, because if you think about it, that movie, when you go back, there's a lot of Unbreakable in there. There's a lot of Split in there, and then there's this new movie inside of it, and I think that was the point of it. But it's just a matter. I thought, but apparently it's not the case. I thought that if you like the ending, then you're going to love the movie, because Roka really loved the movie. But when you hear Perri break it down the way she does, I understand. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of it, but I understand.
She didn't like the ending, though.
She did. She didn't like. Did you like the ending?
I'm actually interested in talking spoilers with you, Roxy, because even when you describe it, I'm not precisely sure which part of the ending you were super into, but I will say that when it gets to the ending, I like the ideas that they had there. It's just they don't earn it at all.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Maybe I'm using my imagination to fill in the blanks for a lot of it. But this movie had, unlike Unbreakable and Split, some of the dumbest moments I've ever seen. Yeah. And that bothered me throughout.
I still want it to do well, because I do like...
I think it will, because I think fans are going to like it. There's a ton of fan servicey stuff in this. Yeah. And I still think it's the characters that we love. Yeah, I definitely like this movie.
I was edging my seat for a lot of it.
Yeah. It's still going to do really well at the box office. It's going to have a big opening in January. But, there's no doubt that when the first reactions come out and they're not as hot as they could have been, that number maybe dips a teeny bit, but it's still going to make a ton of money.
I want to see where the fans are on this one. I really am.
It's the worst of the three.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
It's the worst of the three.
I agree with that. I mean, Unbreakable's still my favorite. Then I put Split, and then I put this one for sure. I agree. And if it would have been a satisfying ending, I don't know.
You might have put it over Split?
Maybe. All right, Perri Nemiroff, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll get you back next time. You can actually be sitting with us, unless you like to hang out with Cody. So it's up to you.
I do like Cody's company.
Yeah, he's a good kid. All right, when we get back, we're going to talk some movie news, and obviously we'll talk about the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer when we get back. And then at 11:30, Harley Quinn-Smith is going to be in studio, as well as Brendan Myer. We are excited to have them talk about all these small moments when we get back. Spider-Man, motherfuckers! Hello there. No, it's not late to the party. That's actually from Obi-Wan Kenobi. You didn't know that? Well, you should, and now you do. Jedi Council. What is it? It's about Star Wars, obviously. It's Jedi Council. Every week, the latest and greatest in Star Wars movie news. Myself and Ken Knapsack, that's right, the pit boss himself. We have a guest on, and we talk about everything happening in the world of Star Wars. If it's the movie news, the TV news, canon news, comic books, games. And then we take questions from you guys on Facebook and Twitter. It's a lot of fun. We've been doing it for a couple of years now. I'm still excited talking about it. The fan base is coming together again. I believe it is. I think it is. I hope it is. And we're talking Star Wars, so we'd like you. That's right. All of you, if you're not a fan of Star Wars, come on over and join us every Thursday for Collider Jedi Council here on Collider Video. And we have an Apple Podcast feed or Podcast One, wherever you want to go if you listen to podcasts. And not only do you get Collider Jedi Council every week on Thursday, The Rule of Two with Mark Fernandez and Mark Reilly, that's on every week. I believe it drops on Wednesday. It's on one of these days. It's a good show. You should listen to it. I like it. I listen to it. I haven't listened to it once.
Hey guys, Ryan Satin here from ProWrestlingSheet.com. And if you're a pro wrestling fan, which I hope you are, even if it's in secret, then you should be checking out Wrestling Sheet Radio Weekly. We've got a bunch of shows in the podcast feed. We've got weekly recaps from myself and John Roca, which you guys will probably know from the Collider family. That's for Raw, that's for SmackDown. We've also got the weekly roundup of wrestling news. It's a show I host called Wrestling Sheet Radio with Jamie Iovine and Elijah Bates. And we've also got a bunch of other stuff in our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/wrestling sheet. So check it out, subscribe, and I hope you guys dig it.
Hey everyone, Mark Ellis here. You know, when I'm not trying to clone dinosaurs or drinking at my neighborhood watering hole, I am probably hosting Collider Movie Talk. It's a flagship show here at Collider. I like to say that because I'm the host of it. It's every day, almost. It's 4 days a week, which is still pretty good, above 50%. You can watch it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 4 p.m. Los Angeles time is when we do it. It's live, so you can participate in the live chat room. Go ahead and give us your thoughts on every story we have coming because it's all the latest movie news of the day. Who did what at the box office? What horrible Redbox movies Bruce Willis signed on to? The DC, the Marvel, the Star Warses, the Lord of the Rings. Are they making new? I think it's a TV show, and we still might talk about it anyway because we love movies around here. It's myself and an expert panel of guests, including John Roca, Perri Nemiroff, Jeff Snyder, and other noted noters of note. You guys are going to love this show, and then we take your live Twitter questions at the end of the show at Collider Video. You can always use the hashtag Collider Movie Talk to get in touch with us, so subscribe right here to Collider Video. Check out Movie Talk, and check out the Collider Movie Talk podcast feed. We have a podcast feed now. You don't have to look at this handsomeness. You can just listen to it, whether you're driving to work, whether you're driving from work, or you don't have a job, but you have a basement and ears. You can listen to Collider Movie Talk's feed. You can get it at Apple Podcasts or on iTunes. You also get Mailbag. That's the show that's hosted by Perri Nemiroff, a lot more professionally than I run this pirate ship. That's our weekend show where she takes your letters. I don't know if you write them or you email them. You have to ask her. And Afterthoughts, hosted by Ryan Snelling and Jay Williams. I almost said Ryan Williams and Jay Snelling. Would anybody have known the difference? I certainly would. I would have felt bad about it because I'm a nice person, and that's why I host Collider Movie Talk. Check it out in video form or on our podcast feed.
What's up, Collider fans? If you are a fan of television and you want to watch a guy that looks like me and a guy named Thad Williams talk about TV every single Friday, subscribe to the Collider channel. Collider Podcast is where you can find the video. We have our own iTunes feed, hashtag Collider TV Talk. You can find on iTunes or wherever you find your podcasts and you listen to them in your ear holes. That's where Collider TV Talk comes at you. We talk about TV news. We talk about shows we love, shows that we don't love, and most importantly, we don't read any books because TV has nothing to do with reading. We also have a show called Hypothetical Questions with myself and Roxy Striar and all kinds of reviews right here at the Collider Podcast channel and the Collider TV Talk feed. Subscribe, rate, like, tell your friends, tell all your friends and tell their friends, and before you know it, it's a pyramid scheme of television. I'm Josh Macuga. You can see Thad Williams and myself along with Roxy Striar and all the Collider personalities all the time right here on Collider TV Talk. As always, put down the book, pick up the remote.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott Movie Manson. Just to let you know, if you already don't, every Friday here on Collider Video, I host a weekly film review series called Movie Review Talk. The title says it all. Every week I'm joined by two guest critics of my choice, and they're never the same. We review the new films. We pick something that's streaming that you might not know about, but is really great. And we pick a Blu-ray for something that you might have missed in theaters. It is fun. It is infectious. It is the Citizen Kane of movie review shows, and it's only right here on Collider with this guy, Scott Movie Mance, Mr. Movie Release Dates himself. Check it out every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, only on Collider Video.
Like an animal. I don't care
Whoa.
anymore.
Roxy's excited. Go ahead.
It's Alex.
Oh, this is Alex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Is that Alex Marzona?
Did I make that up?
They're not saying anything, so I guess it is. Oh, they're dancing.
Because I'm right? He's so
good. He's all right. So Alex is actually performing. So for all those of you who
How
are coming,
ballsy was that?
I
They
know.
started with him, though. Wow.
Listen, for everybody who's
They
going
can. This is
to
good.
New York, which once again, guys, we're going to be there on January 26th for the Schmoedown in Brooklyn. Sold out in 3 days. I love it. Friday night is Ellis's show at the New York Comedy Club in East Village, I believe. I think tickets might still be available. You have to go to Mark Ellis Comedy or markellislive.com. I forget which one it is. It's one of those two. But Thursday night, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, you're performing Thursday night, right?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Thursday night.
Thursday
at
night.
8:30 at Sidewalk Cafe.
Awesome. So
Check it out.
So if you get the great sell, Cobbster.
Check
it out.
YouTube.com/Brooklyn. Check it out.
/pizza. So yeah, check out Alex. He's got a good voice. And
Link in the description.
That'll go. All right, let's move. Let's start getting into some stuff. What happened to Macuga? He left?
Yeah, he traded with Reilly.
He traded with me for
I'm
the
trying
Spider-Man
to tweet
stuff.
out right now. Harley Quinn-Smith has no Twitter.
She does. The way I
It's a hashtag.
Listen to me. Usually, what you do is you Google
I did.
Harley Quinn-Smith.
And then I
Twitter.
saw that Tiffany Smith tweeted at her using a hashtag.
Oh, well, maybe she doesn't. Then. Maybe she's smart and is not on social media.
That sounds wonderful.
How are you doing, Grouchy Hench?
I'm good.
Yeah, you're not grouchy today. You don't
No,
seem
I'm not
grouchy.
grouchy.
You seem all right.
Yeah, I'm just
you're focused.
always focused.
Leveled.
Yeah. Level.
Good.
What's going on?
Like a good focus out of you.
Good. Macuga just he stopped me and he goes, "Hey, I want to tell you a good story when we get back from break." And now he's gone.
Oh,
What
he's
was
gone
it?
well.
good.
He was kicked off mailbag for not knowing Spider-Man. So we're just doing the same thing here.
He was kicked off mailbag. He was also kicked off of the Game of Thrones show, which, by the way, and I was saying this when it happened because he just likes to watch the show. He never read a book, and you talk about the fans will crucify you if you get anything wrong from the books, and they lit him up.
Good
and I had
Lord.
never seen anybody in my history of being involved in this company. When I went up to him and I said, "I'm gonna have to take you off the show," I've never seen anybody go, "Absolutely." He wanted.
He's like, fine.
Oh, he wanted it off. He wanted it. He wanted it
That
off.
Why would you want to be there for all the yelling?
He wanted off like immediately. He couldn't give a shit that he was off that show. Yeah, he was done. He's like, I just like the show. I don't like anything else.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like when everybody's so mean.
Well, I mean, this is the
I
business
can't
we
get
chose.
this out. I can't get the tweet out.
Okay, what's wrong with you? What happened? What's the tweet?
I'm just trying to tweet out for a show. I'm just trying to show support.
So you didn't tweet at all today?
I haven't tweeted
Oh,
yet.
you blew it.
And I already took the selfie.
It's done.
Well, it's not done. We still have that whole
Why don't
hour.
you just wait for the guest to come in and you can take a picture with the guest and then tweet out? Yeah.
Because neither of them have a Twitter, apparently.
Brendan Meyer does. He's part of the.
Find it.
I think it's
can't
Brendan
find
K.
it.
Meyer.
I just can't find it.
Brendan
Kristian.
Meyer, by the way, not only is he coming in here to promote, and this is funny. This was random.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're
I know I'm
right.
right.
You're right.
Thank you.
You're right. You're right. I know you're right. Yeah.
So this movie, all these small moments, they asked us if we'd like to talk to Harley Quinn-Smith, who I actually had the pleasure of interviewing with her dad. At
Kevin.
Sundance, yeah, her dad Kevin, at Sundance a few years ago it was Yoga Hosers, and we spoke. Very nice young lady, and we had a chance to talk to her. But then they also said, "How about?" And our co-star is Brendan Meyer, and I said, "Well, yeah, Brendan Meyer shows
The
up."
OA.
Not even the OA.
Oh.
He is the OG of the. He's here at the Schmoedown tapings every week. He's a big Schmoedown fan.
No way.
He's here every week, always in the audience, and he is actually debuting this year in the Schmoedown. He's going to be playing in the Schmoedown.
You know what? I actually think I might have met
You
him.
definitely met him.
You met him.
Yeah, he was at the
in
Schmoedown Awards. He was there on Saturday.
Yeah.
He's a hardcore fan.
That's so cool.
And by the way.
Well, I never put two and two together.
Yeah.
He was in like 9 episodes of the OA.
Yeah. And by
Great
the
show.
way, he is
9?
No, he's not 9.
Maybe he was in less than that.
Yeah.
It was.
He
yeah,
was in the
yeah.
8th episode. I don't remember.
Was it just the 8th?
Harley Quinn-Smith and Brendan Meyer, both really good actors. And I was watching Brendan Meyer. Man, he's got something. Yeah. Because he's so shy, and he's just like, hey, we're gonna, and he's wonderfully awkward.
Yeah.
Is the way I describe this kid. I love this kid. But he's just, you could tell he's got that thing. He is a very talented actor.
They call it it.
He has it. This kid has it.
That it factor.
Great in The Guest with Dan Stevens.
He was in The Guest? Yeah. He was the kid in The Guest? Get out of here, really?
Fucking love that movie.
I like that movie too. Bring up Brendan Meyer from The Guest. He was the main kid in The Guest?
How long's he been acting for? We got to get all this information for him.
Wow. I mean, he's a humble little bastard too.
Yeah.
He really is. He's humble, man.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just put The Guest Brendan Meyer.
What happened?
Because Guest Dan Steve.
I
What happened
stole
to you?
Christian's almonds at break, and I'm suffering.
Good. You deserve it.
I have to
You
tell
know
you
where
how
I
hard.
put 'em.
I worked really hard for them too. They're so high up. I had to get on the
You
counter.
stole my almonds and you almost choked on them. There you go.
I'm
Karma's
crying.
a bitch,
I'm
isn't
crying. Somebody give me.
Son of a bitch. It's Macuga's fault. He told you it was okay to do.
Yeah, but then you told me it wasn't.
Try video.
I
Try
do
to do
video.
video. Oh, wow. He is the main kid. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Nice job, Reilly.
How old is he?
He's got to be in his early 20s.
Huh.
Wow.
He looks young.
Yeah,
It wasn't that hard. I just put IMDb and I saw The Guest.
Oh, but you didn't. Oh, I thought you knew it. You okay?
So when I was building the notes, I went, oh my God, did the same thing. I went, he was in The Guest.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in a couple years.
What about you guys in the booth? Did you guys know that? You guys are like hardcore Guest fans.
Yeah, we knew that.
Thanks for telling me, Cobbster. Usually, anytime.
Well, I mean, the kid's been here like so many weeks. I figured you guys would have known.
He's a friend of a friend, and they called me up and they said, "Hey, he really likes the Schmoedown. He wants to come by and watch. Is that cool?" I said, "Absolutely." So he came in. I didn't know a lot of his work, and then he talks to me every show about strategy and wanting to compete, and he's his favorite competitors.
You
And
think he's gonna be good?
I think he's got a chance to be really good.
Wow.
He's going up against this kid Paul Ayama, who's really good too, though. So it's going to be a battle. I think.
Who's that?
He is another kid. He's like
Family.
One kid who kind of came up through the fan leagues, and he was on par with like Chance Ellison.
Wow.
So it's going to be a tough fight for the kid. So that's what we're going to call him. We're calling him Brendan the Kid Meyer.
Have you asked Danielle Radford to compete?
She's going to be on the desk this year. I think
cool.
she said she wasn't as.
I think that's wrong. I think it's great to have her on the desk, but I think it's wrong that she's not trivia savvy.
If she
said that, she's really good. But
if she
anytime
wants
I'm
a
like,
match,
who's in? She boom, 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 boom.
If she wants a match, I'll give her a match. Really, I love Danielle
Challenge, not accepted. Challenge put out.
Yeah,
there.
same thing because she was at the Schmoedown Awards as well.
Yeah.
And same thing, just such a
She's so great.
big personality, really sweet. Every time I've had a conversation with her, just this very sweet girl. Love her on movie fights. I'd love to have Danielle Radford. If she wants to compete in the actual, and she gets wrestling. She's a big wrestling
Massive
wrestling
fan.
I'd love to have her. I think she's
I
incredible.
want her to compete.
I would love for her to compete if she wants to. She's made it to me. I've gotten the hints that she didn't want to, but if she wants to be on the desk, that she's made very clear to me, and I'd love to have her on the desk.
She'd be great.
I'll talk to her.
There.
I'll talk to her about it.
Yeah,
all
we should
right,
get
let's talk about this. Let's talk about this trailer, man. It dropped early this morning,
And I watched it.
Good for you. I'm very proud of you. You saw it. Spider-Man: Far From Home looks a lot like Incredibles. It looks. You don't think it looks like Incredibles?
I didn't get that vibe at all.
Oh, man.
No, I didn't get the vibe.
I think it looks a lot like Incredibles. If you look at everything that's
The first Incredibles?
yeah, I think everything that's kind of was going on with it seemed like it to me.
Ah.
But I think this thing takes place.
Storyline wise, or what do you mean looks like?
We're past it now.
Okay.
I think that if we get when I saw this trailer, and this is gonna be spoilers for Avengers: Infinity War. So if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? I think this is in some kind of alternate timeline or something. Or, obviously the events of Endgame happen and the timeline shifts back or it doesn't go back to normal.
Wasn't there a picture of his ID and the year was covered up online? I saw.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. Somebody was questioning that.
That makes sense.
Well, there you go. So
that's the only thing I know about this.
That's
Thank you very much.
Honestly, you added a lot.
You added a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
will
Now you
exit
now.
now.
You can leave. And now get out of here. What do you think?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I feel the tone, shifting over from Homecoming still feels like that John Hughes kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Now he's going. The only thing I didn't like, I don't like those big CGI monsters.
Yeah.
I feel like we saw that in Spider-Man 3 with the Sandman thing. I got the same vibe. So I'm hoping that that's just a kind of a misdirect, that it's all going to be tied to Mysterio somehow.
What are we thinking about Mysterio? What do you think about Gyllenhaal? How do you like the costume, Roxy? You don't love it?
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah.
We'll see how it moves. We'll see what we end up actually looking like. In terms of what you were talking about with how this places into the MCU overall, I don't know, and I'm trying not to think about it because I know they have an answer. Whatever it is that they decide, there's some answer.
Course.
But what I am taking away from this trailer is I like when things make me question. I like.
There he is.
Is he on the
Bubble
line?
Boy.
Is that what's happening? He's on the line.
The suit?
Yeah. Is Jake Gyllenhaal on the line, guys?
Did we pull up the wrong suit? I'm sorry.
That's the wrong suit.
I
was a great
really
film.
like the moment where he's deciding whether or not to put the suit in to pack it with him.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of thing where it's like he's the youngest of them by far. He's still dealing with this kind of like, will I, won't I? What do I do? Wanting to be a kid, wanting to not. Those are
Then
the
Nick
struggles
Fury
that are
hits
real.
well, that's what I like. That's the one thing that I liked about it too. They didn't have to rely on just putting Downey in it again in order to carry it to get people excited.
Although that worked very well the first time.
And it was necessary coming off of, I know you loved it, but coming off Amazing Spider-Man 2 and the disappointment for most fans and most people who saw it, like to get people excited again. It's like, no, this does tie in, and in order to tie it in and show you, you got Iron Man. You don't need Iron Man for this one. Just having Nick Fury alone, because I think Roka was saying it, that it ties back to some comic book storylines to
Ultimate Spider-Man, the Bendis run.
Okay, and
it's great.
So tell
That I love.
so Spider-Man gets recruited by Nick Fury. Is that what happens?
Nick Fury, pretty much. Very similar, but not in Europe. This is the story for Far From Home. He recruits him. He needs Spidey, and I love it. And it's playing coming off of Infinity War. He's an Avenger now. So, but to your point, Roxy, I love that's consistent with Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Peter Parker's constantly juggling these things. It's like, you know what?
Questioning.
I want to go and enjoy my summer break and be a foreign exchange student. So I'm going to leave the suit at home.
Right.
Yeah. It's that balance that is always inherent in Peter.
But I'm good, so I can't sit by and watch the world crumble.
Then he gets pulled in.
Well, what did you think, Brett? You saw the trailer?
I didn't. I haven't seen the first film, so I didn't.
Oh,
I
you
didn't
didn't
watch
see the first
no,
film?
it's
Oh,
on
good.
my.
Didn't I send you the code?
No, I don't have that one.
Oh.
No, that one I really was excited because the first Comic-Con I went to, I saw like a teaser
You were
for
with me
it.
at
Yeah, and I
Homecoming,
was so excited for it because it was described as like the John Hughesy Spider-Man, and I love me some Hughes. But yeah, I just keeps getting slipped away.
We got to
You
bring
can
back.
watch this with your son, right?
I'd like to. I don't know.
Age-wise?
I think I was talking to you about this. My kid's not into like the superhero stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what about we should bring back Brett to the Future.
Yeah.
We should
Do
bring
that
it
one?
back. Yeah, I think maybe do that one. Start with that one. Because that would be.
You'd love it.
Yeah. Do we still have that music, guys? The Brett to the Future music? We can come up with something else, I guess.
Nah,
right?
we don't have it.
Thank you, Cody.
Happy to help.
Yeah, he scrapped it.
It's good. We'll have to make new music. So they loved it. Even better.
Imagine.
Yeah, unbelievable. There was something else, a little house cleaning, I guess, from yesterday. So the director of Uncharted, who directed what again? What did he direct?
10 Cloverfield Lane.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
Dan Trachtenberg.
So Dan Trachtenberg, I asked the question yesterday. I was like, as long is this guy a fan or they just hire him? Well, I got tweeted by a bunch of people. So Jeff Kanata is he's been around for a long time, and he did an interview back in the day with the director, and they talked about Uncharted, and he said, man, I wish I can get my hands on an Uncharted movie. I'd want to do this and that.
What year are you?
It's probably, what year is it right now? It's 2019, Ross. You've been back then? That's probably.
Well, she's living in 3019, so right.
That's right. I think that it was around the 2013 area, 2014, something along those lines. I could be making that up.
So definitely before he was in talks.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a fan. He's
That's
a fan. He's excited to get his hands on the property. So I'm in.
Teabag.
I'm in. That's all. That's all.
Brett, what did you just eat?
A teabag broke in my teeth.
No,
made a hole.
Disgusting.
It's not disgusting. It's just not what I was expecting.
Oh, that's the worst. Like
It was just like a mouthful
Sorry,
of grit.
Kristian.
No,
You
it's
can
There's some
continue. I just-
herbs in there.
No, it's all right. You ever think you're about to drink like a Sprite or ginger ale, and then you drink water, and you think something's wrong, you spit it up?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is a terrible drink. It's really flat. All right. Anything else we want to talk? Thank you, Roxy. Do you have anything else we want to talk about when it comes to the Spider-Man?
30 minutes on that.
No, but what Booth, Cody, you're in this movie. What'd you think about it? Trailer.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Perfect. Where'd you go?
Hold on. I'm dealing with a phone call situation right now.
Why, someone
but
calling
I thought
in?
the trailer was cool. It was a cool trailer.
Is someone calling in?
Maybe.
Is it someone I want to talk to?
Yeah, you should.
I think it's Jake Gyllenhaal.
I don't want to talk
Here we
to.
go. We got a caller on the line.
All right, who do you have?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, this is Frank. I just wanted to say hi to Roxy real quick. I didn't get a chance to see her this morning.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Roxy. How you doing?
Frank is my favorite.
He shouted at me from across the room today.
Hi, Roxy.
Opened his door. Hi, Roxy. But is that what it is now? Like anytime you're an overcompensator?
Roxy.
Whoa.
I think she's talking to you. Is that,
Cheeky.
do you find that offensive, Frank?
Can you guys put Brett on the line? I haven't talked to him in like a month.
He's here.
Hey, Frank. How's it going?
Well, you've been chasing snakes.
I have been chasing snakes.
Are you as obsessed as because every 5 seconds on Fernandez's Instagram now there's a big old snake. Are you as obsessed now? Is this like a new thing?
I might be getting into it.
You might be getting. Did you actually see? We can't lose you. So
Yeah.
So stay away from the pythons and the cobras.
The snakes in general.
Yeah. Do you?
If this advice was coming from Roxy, it might mean a little bit more.
Roxy?
I'd like to hear her say it.
Here's the deal. When you came on the show the first time, or the most recent time, you said that I was standoffish and like not
monotone and joyless.
Monotone and joyless, essentially. So I've tried really hard to, when I see you, to smile, to say hello, and to be friendly. And now to have this kind of attitude from
Ooh.
you, I just don't know.
Wow, we have a new beef here, Frank.
Now I get called an overcompensator.
Well, and then the other thing is,
I get chastised for opening the front door for Roxy.
and not saying, I mean, how weird is it to open a door, me to say, hi, thank you, and him to say no words. And then I listened to Afterthoughts every week, and
That show died because of you, because you didn't call them enough.
and I have to say, Team Ryan and Jay here with a little bit of a lack of paying attention to their show. So, we've got beef all over the place now, Frank. If that is what your name really is.
Oh boy.
There's no way it's his real name.
No way.
Well, this was a productive phone call. Hope you guys have a good show.
Thank you, Frank.
And I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, Frank.
He does have the best style in the office. I'll give him that.
Frank's
you guys
great.
all have decent style, and he's got really good.
I was going to
style.
ask him what he thought of my hair. I popped in and said hi to Frank this
Did you?
morning. Yeah.
You guys get along really well.
Yeah.
Did he say hello
I think
back?
we're both equally as awkward and would just, if we were left alone in a room, it would just be silence
It would be
mostly.
perfect. Well, Frank's a funny dude though too. So
When you said hi, did he say hi? Like a
Did he
human?
say hi?
Like a
No,
human
he
being?
goes, get out.
Like a human?
You know, remember when we were picking superpowers? I think he would pick like Randall's power in Monsters University, where you could just disappear.
That's what he does anyway.
Yeah,
What does he
I'm
need? He already
pretty
has
sure
that.
he already has that
that
power.
All right, listen.
He's a pirate.
When we get back, we're going to go to break here. So from the new film, All These Small Moments, with Harley Quinn-Smith and Brendan K. Meyer, we're going to be talking to them when we get back from the break. Hello, Collider fans. I'm Kristian Harloff, and you see my stupid name in the background because that's my other show. It's One-on-One with me, Kristian Harloff. What the hell is it? I just sit down and talk to people. I literally just sit down and talk to people about what the hell's going on in their lives and their careers, and it's a long-form interview show. Originally, it aired on Collider Video as far as the YouTube channel goes, but we moved it on over, and it's on the Collider Video podcast, Collider Podcast, on YouTube. Go on over there if you want to see the video and to see the pretty faces that I'm talking to. Had some great guests over the past. And we're going to have a lot more. And there's going to be people that maybe some celebrities or actors and actresses, producers, writers, all that stuff. But there's also a lot of the people that you know around here. I could have Cobbster on there. I could have Jeff Snyder, John Roca, Mark Reilly, Roxy Striar, whoever. And I'm going to find out more about them. Long form, and also go to Apple Podcasts and check out the One-on-One feed with Kristian Harloff. And not only is my show on there, Mark Reilly, the Reilly Roundtable, which is another sit-down, long-form interview show, that's also there. And when Steve Frosty Weintraub talks to Kevin Smith or George Takei, that's going to be on that podcast feed also. So if you're taking a long drive and you like those long-form interviews, pop on the one-on-one with Kristian Harloff, give it a rate, comment, do all that because it helps the show and it makes Podcast One go, hey, you know what? Those people should get ad money.
Oh, hi, guys. It's Perri here, and I am going to tell you about The Witching Hour. It is the show that I host along with Collider.com's Haley Fouch. It is in podcast form on the Collider Factory feed, and we also have the video up and running every Tuesday for you right there on the Collider Podcast YouTube channel. We talk about everything horror. We're talking TV, movies, the newest releases. We talk about movies that are celebrating anniversaries. We've even talked about books. It's crazy. If it is scary, we are talking about it on The Witching Hour. We also have so many filmmaker interviews, really cool stuff. It's all coming your way every single Tuesday on The Witching Hour. Check it out. Collider Factory and the Collider Podcast YouTube channel.
Hello, Collider Live. My name is Amy Dallin.
And I'm Coy Jandro, and we host a little show we love called Collider Heroes. And it is all of the things we love about movies, TV, comics themselves, all the breaking news, trailers, photos, but not paparazzi photos.
All of the superhero stuff we love, all of the indie comic stuff we love, all the stuff you had no idea was based on comics.
80 years of comic lore have led to this show, and many years in film and TV, and we're living in a golden age of comics, and we want to share all of that zeal with you folks.
So we talk about the stuff that's coming out. We talk about what we hope is coming out. We do fantasy casting of things that should exist. Why don't they exist?
And we do your Twitter questions asking directly to us what we think of certain things. And every single week, since we both actually love and read physical comics, buy and print, we have a comic pull list where our 5 biggest favorite books of the week come out, and we dive into those with you guys.
You can buy digital. I'll forgive you. As long as you're paying for your comics. It's all good.
But if you buy in print, you can bag them and board them, and then they're worth more later, because comics are like certain things from the 90s that are totally worth the value. Buy comics, buy in print. Digital's never worth anything later. Buy in print. Keep comic stores alive.
Or we can debate collector's items all day long. We can debate casting. We can debate movie news. We can have all of our friends come join us, as we frequently do. We can ask professionals about their work. We've had some amazing guests come by the show.
Yep. We try to
can catch it every Wednesday.
That are on these properties that also love comics. You hear what it's like from their perspective, from inside, from outside, and this is all with the focus of bringing all this news to you guys. And we're here every Wednesday on Collider, and we love this stuff and want to share it with you guys.
We'll see you then.
Hey guys, Reilly here, and let me tell you about the Reilly Roundtable. That's right, they gave Reilly his own podcast. The Reilly Roundtable is on its new home, and that is one-on-one with Kristian Harloff on the iTunes feed for Podcast One. It drops every Thursday. The Reilly Roundtable is a little bit about everything. It's about movies and life and movies and everything in between. I like to have on special guests for discussions like Justice League versus Batman v Superman, for discussions about wine tasting, for discussions about UFOs, and everything in between. That's right, the Reilly Roundtable drops on Thursdays on the One-on-One with Kristian Harloff podcast feed and later on Collider Video's own podcast video network. So check it out every Thursday, the Reilly Roundtable. See you there.
Hey everyone, this is John Roca. You know me as one of the co-hosts for Collider Sports Time every Monday on Collider Sports YouTube and podcast channel. But we got another show on here. That's Collider Sportsbook. Josh Macuga, the Wild Man, he hosts that one. I join him on those, and they're a lot of fun. We break down the lines and the predictions with the over and unders. A lot of stuff going on for all the NFL games and some select college football games as well. We do that every week. We also do special ones on Thursday nights for those Thursday night football games. Let you know where to put your money, what bets to put down, who to go with, who not to go with. We give you a lot of information, and we give you our thoughts. You know, Josh Macuga, he does it by the gut. I do it more from the statistics point of view, and every once in a while, Mark Fernandez even joins us to throw in his 2 cents on the Thursday night sportsbook. So there's a lot of sports action here on Sports Time, on the Collider Sports YouTube and podcast channel. Join us there. Subscribe there. Definitely on the podcast channel. We need your downloads, subscriptions, and views there. So give us some love on Collider Sports, and we'll talk to you soon.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Collider Live, January 17th in theaters. All these small moments, and also on demand and digital. And 2 of our stars here today Harley Quinn-Smith. I haven't seen you. I interviewed you during Sundance for Yoga Hosers for Fandango back in the day.
Oh, nice.
It's great to see you again.
Good to see you.
Thank you for joining us in studio.
Thank you for having me.
And not only the co-star, but one of the upcoming stars of the movie trivia Schmoedown this season, Brendan K. Meyer, is here.
Yes. Do you remember we were talking about this? Yeah. Last time we were hanging out, I was telling her about coming on this run.
It
It's
happened.
on Saturday, yeah.
Yes. And after we get done with this particular interview, I have something else related to the Schmoedown that I have to show you. But that is at the very end of this particular, because I want to talk about this movie. Now, I didn't know him until the end because I've heard that he was a Schmoedown fan. He came in, and then my buddy was like, "You got to check out the OA." And you got the chops, kid. You got the chops. He is phenomenal. You and I gave you all the compliments last time I saw you too, and you know how highly I think of you. But I mean, I didn't know. All I knew was this is a fan of the Schmoedown.
He's a talented
Then I see
fellow.
these scenes inside the library, and you guys have this great chemistry. Tell me a little bit about the movie, like so the fans know what can we expect to see from this film.
I think really anybody that sees this film is going to be able to relate to it in some way, no matter what age you are, what you're going through in your life. The film is really representative of different issues and hurdles that anybody at any point in their life can face. But at the core of it, it's a coming-of-age story.
And that's so Brendan, what was it about this movie, the script, that you kind of really gravitated towards?
Yeah, well, I think what I liked about it is a similar thing in that to what you were saying, which is it covers a lot of different ground. You know, it focuses on some young characters like us, but it gives sort of like equal weight to the parents and what they're going through as well. So I think what I related to is that it hit on these issues on a bunch of different levels. You know, it's like the character that I play, his family is kind of going through, the parents are kind of going through a rough patch, and it really kind of gives equal weight to the parents and how they're navigating that, as well as how it affects me and my younger brother.
Right.
And I think that sometimes, you know, movies can overly focus on just one. It becomes all about just the parents or all about just the kids. And I thought what was really interesting, what was great about the script is that you really were able to see these things from all these different angles. And I think that leads to a more three-dimensional sort of script and better scenes when they all sort of come together.
Well, it really depends on chemistry. It always does, right? And then even from the clips that I was able to see, I didn't get a chance to see the whole movie yet, but I've seen the clips from you guys inside that library and everything. I mean, there's so many throughout the film. There's different things that are happening. Obviously, as you can tell, you start with the one, you get this cast on, and then and this is really when you first get to know him. Right?
Yeah.
But then there's a scene where he takes it off, and you can tell that your character's just trying to really get to know him a little bit more, and then there's just something that's going on with this kid. And if it doesn't work with you two, then the scene doesn't work. But the chemistry is there. How did you meet the first time? Did you know each other before the movie?
No.
Just kind of met on set.
It was great. So we got to meet before we started shooting.
Okay.
So, because we were because most of the actors and the crew and the director all from New York, and so we shot in New York. But we were kind of the two who were in LA. So when we both knew we were cast, Melissa, the director, was like, "Hey, do you guys want to meet? Do you guys want?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, of course, absolutely."
Yeah.
And so it was great. We went and we hung out, and we hung out several times before we
Where
even
did
started
you
shooting.
go? What was the first hangout?
What is that? Oh, we went to Cafe 101.
101 coffee shop, you know, there.
We
Which is a great
there,
place.
We walked around a lot
Mhm.
because Brendan walks. He
big
doesn't
walker?
drive, so he just is out on the town all the time walking.
I take the subway actually, mainly, and Uber, but you know,
While you're in New York, 'cause you're
no, here.
Here in LA.
Oh, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
You take public transportation.
I do.
Do you know how to drive or no?
You know what? I kind of can, but it's so interesting. It's just something that I never took the time to be really
ballsy in
great
LA.
at.
Yeah.
You
Tell
know,
you.
when I first lived in LA, it was my mom and my brother, and so they would help me and drive me around. And then right after I did the first season of the OA, actually, in like summer of 2016, I started living on my own in LA, and I thought, oh boy, this is where I'm gonna have to start learning to drive. And you know what? I'm right by a subway station, and
you're
you
cool
can
with
do
it.
it. Yeah, because Uber. Well, the thing that's great about Uber and Lyft and stuff like that is now you have this thing if you need it.
Yeah.
But if you don't use it every single time you have to go somewhere, and you walk and use the subway and get rides every now and then, you can do it. You really
I hate
can.
to tell you
really
this
can.
though, man. With your chops, you're not gonna be able to do that for too much.
No way.
It's quite impressive while it lasts, though. He travels all over,
I know.
and I'm like, what?
You're like, no.
I'm like, I'll be in my car.
Get me in my car. I'm like, give me a car.
Because I can listen to a podcast.
Right.
Or I
The
can,
subway goes to 6 places.
Yeah, I know.
This
There's
is
literally
not
6
true.
stops.
This is not. It's not true.
You probably know the ins and outs. What do we know about it? He probably knows the ins and outs.
You know
From what I
so,
hear.
You know what's so great is parking is so bad in LA, and I can't tell you how many times I'll like be arranging to meet up with someone for coffee or
And you
something
know how
like
to
that.
do it now.
And I'll take the subway a
Right.
couple stops, I'll walk, and
Well,
I'll
you
see
and
them
JT need to be
circling the
partners now.
block. You know, I'll see the person I'm meeting circling the block, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, I just need
Yeah.
to find parking,ng," and I'll be like, "Well, I'm just walking in."
You're like, I'm
'cause
fine.
You know,
Right.
I went 175 to get here.
But that's interesting though, because as you start to, but you do as you're doing all these walks and you're learning about him though too. You take that into your character though too. Certain things. I mean, there's certain things obviously very different from the characters you play, but there are pieces of ourselves that we put into roles when we're playing them. So, does that just kind of make it so much more comfortable once you start to know somebody as just going in cold, right?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. When I act, I don't really like to think of myself at all in it. I like to remove myself completely, or I try to at least, but still there's the familiarity of knowing the person you're acting with, even if you're not putting yourself in the character, just feeling comfortable, especially for the more vulnerable scenes. It's I think quite vital to feel comfortable with the person you're acting off of.
Yeah.
Why do you try
Totally
to
agree.
remove yourself completely? That's an interesting take. I don't know many actors that go through that.
I just think I've worked with a teacher for a long time since I started acting who is very into creating these backstories and creating an entire life for this character that you're playing. And within that, it's kind of important to just leave yourself behind. And I've felt that that's always the best bet for me is to just create somebody new. I think it's way more fun that way too. To become someone else. That's like why actors do what we want to do, right? So you might as well like leave yourself behind.
Do you have a similar process, or it just depends on the role?
I think it depends. I mean, I certainly like to put a lot of thought into the backstory and sort of where the character is coming from. I mean, so much for me, I find, you know, I've from a very young age been sort of a very like kind of outgoing, sort of loud, talkative, you know, using my hands a lot kind of person. Yeah, you know. But you can't really do that as an actor a lot of the time. You have to figure out sort of the kind of like you're saying, you have to figure out the things about yourself that you have to lose.
Yeah.
So that's how I often go about it, you know. It's like I'll look at the character and I'll think, you know, what do I, not necessarily adding stuff on, but like what do I have to take away?
Yeah.
You know, like do I have to lower my voice? Do I have to not, you know, move my face as much? Do I have to not use my hands? And you know, it's so interesting because I like to put so much thought into the characters and stuff beforehand, but it's like once you get there on set in a scene, so much of it is just about making sure that you can do it in that moment.
That's so true.
I always say it like, you know, it's like being a tennis player. Like, I want to think about where I want the ball to go, but I also just want to get it over the net. So it's like, I also want to make sure that I can just get into a place on set where I'm natural and I feel like I'm out of my own head and I'm engaged with the other person. So when I'm on set, more of it I find is about like what am I like today, and how do I sort of like make sure that none of that will interfere, and when, you know, action calls, I can just kind of like
Right, I think that just depends again on the particular characters, like you're saying, Harley. When you have these characters that you get to create, that because I was just watching an interview and I raved about it yesterday. Perri Nemiroff, who works here, interviewed Christian Bale for Vice, and he talked about how like that's a very different situation, obviously, when you have so much you know, back history on Dick Cheney and the way he's got to walk like him, he's got to talk like him, he's got to breathe like him, that type of thing. But when you get to create your own characters through this script that you're given, there's a lot of freedom to that.
Totally, yeah. And it's interesting because, like, I talk a lot about how when I first read the script, there's this monologue in it, and I interpreted it completely different than Melissa intended it to be. Right. So it's even the way that you read it coming in with your you know, personal past and history, how you take that scene in. It's there's a lot of things that go into how it actually ends up being.
Well, let's talk about so Melissa Costanzo.
Yes,
Miller Costanzo. Yeah,
Miller Costanzo is the director of this movie. Now, it seems just from the way
and the writer as well.
And the writer as well. Yes. And it seems that you guys are raving about, because that's
the process.
Because you want to about the process. You want to make sure, because sometimes you work with a director that like you said, there's a monologue inside of it that you think one particular way. Now there's one director that gives you that advice, and you're like, well, that's going to take me to the next level. And then there's other ones you're just, okay, I'm really going to have to figure this thing on my own.
Right.
It doesn't seem to be the case here with Melissa.
100% was not the case. I mean, Melissa was, of course she wrote the script, so you would think, but that's not always the case. She knew every scene inside out, and she really, really had a point of view on every single scene. I think as an actor, that is the most helpful thing when you're on set and you know that the director has an idea of what they want the scene to be. But what's great about Melissa, she's also very collaborative. So you kind of have this, it's like that safety net where you're like, I can come and I can bring my opinion and my take on it, and I know that Melissa's going to listen to me and maybe incorporate it, but I also know that she's just not going like, sure.
Right.
She has a real sort of vision of what she wants to do and how she wants it to sound and feel, and she's really striving for a specific goal. And I, as an actor, that is amazing, because then you know that if something's a little off or just not quite what she's thinking of, she's going to be there to kind of help you out and be that sounding board and redirect. So
Well, I'm sure it takes the stress off of you too when you get there to know, like, okay, I can trust this person.
Totally. Absolutely. I mean, I think it's an extremely important quality for a director to know what they want, but it's also equally as important to be collaborative, because if you are really not open to changing your ways, then like the actors are going to feel uncomfortable. And which was really great, particularly about this, because the script is so near and dear to Melissa. A lot of the things in it are things that have happened to her, and she has said that she does really feel herself in every character that is in the script. So the fact that she was willing to be so open with it was really special.
We we watched the Spider-Man trailer this morning, and there's all these references to like John Hughes with this tone, right? And one of the first names I see on this list here is Molly Ringwald.
Yeah.
And it's like, you talk about legend, man. I mean, I remember when I first got to LA and I met Molly Ringwald. What a sweetheart.
She's amazing.
What did you meet her for?
I worked at this club. And she came in and she was just there to watch a show, and it was just, she was just couldn't have been a nicer human being. So it's one of those. Had you guys seen? You guys are a lot younger than I am. So have you seen a lot of her movies?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
I grew up like some of my first memories of watching movies are watching her movies.
Yeah, I think most people of our generation still have a huge connection to those movies, because I knew her movies and had seen her movies, but pretty much everybody that I talked to who's kind of my friends around the same age were like, oh my gosh, Molly Ringwald.
If they don't,
and they're out.
Then I don't want to know them.
See, there you go.
Yeah, if you don't know Molly Ringwald, it's like,
then goodbye. Was she signed on to the project when you guys signed on?
She was for me, yeah.
Yes.
Was that part of the reason you guys took this, or the script? Or
certainly was a
helped.
huge selling point. It certainly was. Yeah, no, it was very exciting when, because I think I had done a tape, and then I was Skyping with Melissa, the director, and at that point I didn't have the part yet, and she mentioned that Molly was going to be in it, and that was very, very exciting. And also Brian Darcy James, who plays the father, is like, he's kind of a Broadway legend. So I'd seen him on Broadway before, and he was in the original cast of Hamilton off Broadway, and then he came and joined the show later on Broadway. So so I was very excited about that. So you had Molly Ringwald, and then you had Brian as the dad, and so
at this point it's like, why don't you take it?
I know.
There was no reason.
That's fine. And it comes out once again, guys, January 17th, the movie All These Small Moments, and we are here with Harley Quinn-Smith and Brendan K. Myer. I call you K. Myer because of the Twitter.
Oh, I know. Well, it's KJ, so it's like that's my two middle names, so that's why.
I'm trying to think we're still figuring out the nickname for the Schmoedown, because so you left in November to do this movie, right? Is that when it was, or earlier than that?
No, this was a while ago.
Oh,
No, I actually
April of 2017.
Oh, and you were talking about the Schmoedown back then?
No.
April of 2017.
I was still in high school.
No. We've been talking about it mostly this year.
I see.
Since I've been coming to the tapings.
Okay.
He doesn't want to seem too thirsty right now.
No. Look, I am pumped up about the Schmoedown. I've told a lot of people, because I love movies, and most people who are friends with me kind of always are giving me a bad time about knowing too much about movies.
But you're used to it. I mean, when it comes to movies in general, I mean,
that's true. But Brendan has a different kind of level, I think.
Really?
And I've been wanting him to be a part of it for so long. He's been telling me that he's been going to the tapings, and I'm like, why aren't you in it? I don't understand. Now his time has come.
I need to show you.
I'm in trouble in my match, so we'll see. It's
because
close.
there's rookies.
It's close.
We have a rookie class this year. There's a rookie. Every year we have a rookie class. We've been doing it since like really 2016. It's 2014 is when it started, but 2016 has really been vamping up. And Mark Bernardin is
really?
Mark Bernardin is 1-1 so far. He's coming back in, and so there was this particular rookie that was coming and said that he wants to play, he wants to get in there, and it's just a matter of getting him in. Do you guys have that clip? Tell me.
One second.
Bring up the clip and let me know when you have it, because this is a rookie that I would think I was going to pair you up with at first, but then Paul Ayama is going to be it. But I wanted to see what you guys thought, if we can get this.
Oh my gosh.
I see.
Have you been here? Do you know what the Schmoedown is?
I know what the Schmoedown is, but I've never been here. For years, I've threatened our good friend John Schnepp about coming to a Schmoedown, coming over here. But I'm familiar with it, but I've never been on it. I think I would be good at it. A lot of people ask me and Mark Bernardin to do it together. I think Mark Bernardin might have done it from Fat Man on Batman.
I'm telling you now that if you like applause, which I think you do.
I do. I live for it. I'm like, it's all, I don't fuck the money. I'm here for the approval. And then, I was raised a fat kid, so naturally applause means nothing but good to me. That's my currency.
I will say that I think at some point you should come in and at least sit in and be like a judge or witness it.
Can I compete?
Oh, 100%.
I love it. That's good. So, anyway, so we were talking about getting. That was amazing. He would be amazing.
He'd be. I have an absolutely terrible memory. I can't remember shit. But he's so good. At
What about a manager position?
Oh yeah, you should be the manager.
Oh, you should manage.
I would be pretty good.
Listen, father-daughter team and manager. Oh my God,
I could quiz him before, like making little flashcards.
That's what I mean. That would be amazing. We'd love to have
You
that.
have no idea what you just signed up for. It's a long road.
It's true. But you're first, man. This kid, Paul Yama's going to be tough. So.
No, he's great. And I mean, we talked about that the other day, and about how you were like, you should check out some of his matches in the fan leagues. And so I found some of the matches, and wow, he is so impressive.
Yeah,
so.
well, you're getting a good word of mouth here from Harley Quinn-Smith.
Can I come?
On 100%.
You're coming and managing. You just signed up.
I'll also manage.
Oh yeah.
You should come.
Yeah. Well, I think what's really interesting is I think. It's like I think Paul is so great, and I've sat next to him at the tapings and seen how good he is, and so it will be very, very tough. But I think what's great about the Schmoedown is I think if you have enough knowledge, if you have enough of a base of knowledge going in, you can really, and that's why it's so fun to watch, is that anybody can beat anybody, and it's like
it's all about the wheel.
And we were talking about this the other day.
It's UFC meets WWE. Anything can happen, and that's what.
Yeah.
But I think you might have them because you're good under the lights.
Yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. So my brother was so funny because my brother is a competitive cheerleader actually, and he does that. Yeah, he's been third in the world a bunch of times.
Is he in LA as well?
On Team Canada? No, he's back in Canada, but he's on the national team.
That's why you're such a nice person.
Yeah. Oh, yes. and walk so much. It all makes sense now.
Yeah. So he's always been an athlete, and so he's very excited about Schmoedown because he's like, this is like the first thing you've ever done that's like a sport, man. Yeah. You're facing somebody, and so it'll be fun.
Well, good, and we'll make sure. Yeah, we'll make sure you can come for sure.
Yeah, you should definitely come.
Yeah, absolutely.
You told me one time when we were hanging out, like how many movies you had seen in 1 year or something. And I was like, what?
What was it?
Last year, I started recording a couple years ago. I started recording every movie I watched and sort of on that app Letterboxd, and then I started to have to really look in the face of how many I'm watching. So I watched 250 last year.
Damn. That's
What app? Litterbox?
It's called Letterboxd.
Not Litterbox.
Litterbox, yeah. Litterbox.
Every time you get bad.
That's a different app.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Yeah.
Different app.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. Actually, I'm about to go on Shark Tank with my new app.
Yes.
Litterbox.
They just stole your idea.
Hey, Sharks, we're looking for $5 million for 2% of Litterbox.
That's right.
2%. Bring it up to 10.
10. No.
Well, what else we got in the works here too? Because you guys are really busy. You guys are doing a lot of stuff too. What's the latest and greatest?
Oh man, it's been a wild past few months.
Yeah, what do you got going on?
I had the absolute and utmost pleasure of working on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh wow, yeah. Tell me about that.
I cannot really tell you.
Tell me what you can.
It was the best experience of my entire life.
Awesome.
And I don't even really think I'm supposed to talk about it, but I'm just extremely excited.
Okay, I don't want to get you in trouble, so will you come in and talk about it when you can?
Absolutely.
I would love that.
And my band, The 10th, has an album coming out on February 10th.
What do you sing?
I play bass and I sing.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
When you have an album coming out? Sorry, again on the 10th. Is it February 10th?
Yeah, February 10th. We have our EP came out in August, and so our first full album is coming out.
Why are
February
you guys
10th.
called the 10th?
We met on November 10th, and then a few years passed, and then we went to this show at this downtown place called The Smell on February 10th, and we went there, and I was auditioning for this project that Carrie Brownstein was making, and I really wanted it. I did not get it, but it was I can't talk. It was autobiographical, and it was about her experiences, basically starting Slater-Kinney and stuff. So I was really in this punk mode, and I was like, "Oh my God, yes, I want to make music." And so we went to this show, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to start a band?" And my friend was like, "Yeah," and we were like, "We're gonna play at The Smell a year from now," and so we're playing at The Smell on February 10th
Look at that.
for an album release. Yeah,
that's so cool. That's cool. And where can they find the EP?
The EP is on Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp. You can pretty much find it anywhere.
That's
it's called
fantastic.
Boys We Don't Know, and our upcoming album is called Dunes.
So you got a lot going on right now. That's cool.
Yeah.
And you're working on everything. I mean, so what's going on? Oh wait, what do we got? Second season? What's going on
Yes,
with it?
so I definitely cannot say when it's going to come
All right,
out. They
all right.
swear us the secrecy on that.
But you do know.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And I think that'll be the I did the second
If I
season.
give you a title match against Ethan Irwin, will you let me know?
I got to get through fall first.
All right, all
We'll
right.
see. No. I mean, I can't say when it's coming out, but yeah, sooner rather than later. And I think that'll be the next thing that I'm in that will come out. So yeah.
You know what I didn't realize until they told me, and I was looking you up too. I didn't realize it. Didn't put two and two together that you were in The Guest.
Oh yeah.
And I love that.
The best movie.
I love that movie.
I love it.
And it's so good. I was like, he's the kid in The Guest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man, and you're like what I love about you is that you're so humble. Now I hope you stay that way, because again, like I said, with your chops, I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm convinced that this train thing is bullshit. I'm convinced that you know you're going to get a driver one day. I'm convinced.
Yeah, 100%. Pretty content with the subway.
Well, it's because the first time, it's like the first time I ever lived on my own was actually we filmed the first season of the OA. In New York.
Yeah.
And so that was actually the first time I'd ever lived on my own. And I was there for 4.5 months.
Do you mind me asking how old were you when you were doing that?
20, I think it was 21.
Wow, living on your own in the city.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Yeah, it was great. Because the first time when we moved out here, actually, because my brother was doing the competitive cheerleading in near San Diego. So when I was first in LA, it was me, my mom, my brother. My dad would come back and forth from Canada because he still has his job. And so then they were there, and then I went to do the OA, and that was the first time I'd been on my own, and it was really fun. But I was taking the subway and kind of got used to that, and then I came here, and it still works. I mean, that's 2.5 years ago.
I'm also convinced.
Good. I haven't run out of money, and I'm
And
never died.
I'm also convinced that you act
crazy.
Yeah, I'm convinced that you act because that's the only way you can get angry. I can't see you being an angry person.
He's so nice.
He's like the nicest person
He's
in the world.
literally the nicest boy.
When I saw you, I was like, wow, I've met this guy a handful of times at the Schmoedown tapings. I just never put two and together. And I'm a massive OA fan.
Oh, yeah.
But there's something about you that doesn't...
I look a little bit different in that.
And it doesn't match.
There's a lot of different people in the show.
You're a chameleon. You change.
Well, that's why, because watching those scenes inside the library there, when you walk in, it's just like, I'm like, that's not the kid I know. That's a super compliment too, because that's when you see somebody that you've been in the business long enough, so I'm sure you know a lot of people who are acting, and when you to be able to not see them that way, that's a skill.
Yeah.
And that's a particular skill, and I think that that's a testament to it. But
it's like Split. Something happens in the train tracks. We just don't know what's happening to you down there in that train. You come out as the beast.
That's right.
That's Brendan.
Yeah.
Did you got my acting laboratory down there?
Yeah, but once again, guys, I want to let you guys know about the movie. All these small moments, you can see it on demand and digital HD. That's on January 18th. It's in theaters January 17th. Thank you guys for both coming in here today. Leslie, did you have fun on set? You were at the Schmoedown Awards. Did you have fun?
It was great. It was really, really fun.
Good. The Comedy Store was nuts.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a great vibe. It was a very, very fun show, and it was nice. It was nice. I mean, I've been watching the whole season, so it's nice to kind of put a bow on it.
We're happy to have you in general here. We're happy to have you when you're going to be taping. Love to have you at the taping.
I
totally
cannot wait.
Good.
I will make signs for Brendan.
And we have our live show, guys. Once again, that's going to be on January 26th in New York. So if you're there, sold out in 3 days. Happy about that. So That's it. That's the show for today. Again, once again, thank you to Harley Quinn-Smith, Brendan Meyer, Roxy Striar, the whole crew here today. Brett, Josh, the Wangers. We'll see you tomorrow.